Dr. Ramesh sir, who is an IPS officer, former DGP, a part of National Security Advisor. He also worked in Jammu and Kashmir. A lot of enthusiast, a motivator, a person with lot of energy. So a lot of things we have to learn from the former DGP sir, and I am very sure that this particular ethics classes which we are going to start, I request Ramesh sir, please sir.
Now, as Vishnu sir was telling you, why we need to study ethics, and this is a very, for you it may appear to be a very boring subject. It was not there when we wrote the civil service examination. A little bit of introduction of me is required here, even though I gave you. I'm an engineer, and I worked for Tata Motors. Then it used to be called as Telco, and for 4.5 years I worked. And I also was preparing for both management and civil services examination, and I cracked both of them. I understood one thing, and that is there is not much of a difference between management and administration, except that managers do things right, administrators or leaders do right things. Managers do things right, administrators and leaders do right things. What does it mean? It means manager is more into process. Leaders or administrators are more into the ends, the products. In other words, ethics is extremely important that makes a manager into a leader. You need not artificially distinguish between a manager, one line, these are all managers, these are all leaders. It doesn't happen like that. Your father is a manager of the family, and being your father to show you the way is your leader. So is your mother. So is your teacher. In other words, this distinction of management and leadership, it was part of my entire process of life. Then after competing for civil services, I was trained in National Police Academy in Hyderabad. And then I got West Bengal cadre, I worked there. And West Bengal is the most difficult state in the world. Maybe some states like Sudan may be worse than that. But I think even they are much better than West Bengal, I can say. Having worked there, we got a lot of experience. And then I had the fortune of working with different parts of the country, including Jammu and Kashmir, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, Andhra, and Karnataka, Rajasthan, so many other places, Manipur. With this experience, I found out one thing, that when we wrote the examination, ethics was not there, but we were compelled to write 2 postgraduate level optionals. Mine was engineering and political science. Somebody else took history, political science, sociology, like that. But ethics was not part of it. And I'm happy that ethics was introduced for simple reason that if you don't know ethics, you are likely to go to Tihar. And don't ask me what is Tihar, sir. I hope all of you know what is Tihar. See, Arvind Kejriwal ji is there right now. And so I got bail, but still is not released. Maybe that bail was just a handicap. But main issue is, lot of power is given to the civil servants. Ethics make you to be accountable and responsible. Now, the main issue is, when you were given a lot of power and you don't know how to apply that power, it is ethics that guide you. That if I do something wrong, the same power, the same lathi, the same FIR book which I am using to punish somebody, my name can be FIR'd. This hajjat that I am making to keep people, this hajjat that I am keeping, that is the custody, I will be there in one day in the same custody. What is the main thing in here is, you will be always towed to the ground. Okay, ఒక తెలుగు సామెత చెప్తాను మీకు. ఏంట్రా నీ మోకాళ్ళలో ఉందా బుర్ర, ఎక్కడ పెట్టుకొని తిరుగుతున్నావురా బుర్ర అని అంటారు. మోకాళ్ళు అంటే ఏంటో తెలుసుగా, ఇవి. మోకాళ్ళలో బుర్ర ఉంటుందంటే కారణం ఏంటంటే, the head should be there, here, not there. But ethics make you to bring your head to there. Always groom to the ground. If you don't groom to the ground, if you are flying out, you are likely to commit error. Why? When you become an IAS officer or an IPS officer at 23, 24, 25, you will go and become a boss of a subdivision. People of your father's age will be reporting to you. They know the job thoroughly. Each constable must have seen at least 2,000 dead bodies. You have not seen one. I remember I'll tell you a small story. There used to be a film called Yamagola, and Senior N.T. Ramarao. right? There was a villain called Rao Gopal Rao. Rao Gopal Rao has got 2-3 henchmen, small gundas, middle type. One Jaggarao was one such fellow. So he says to Jaggarao, Jaggarao says, I will go and kill N.T. Ramarao, sir. Now you give me the order. Then Rao Gopal Rao, sir, Arey, అన్ని పనులు అన్నితో కావురా, నిన్ను పంపించి ఆ బ్రహ్మిగాడిని కొట్టమని నువ్వు వెళ్ళి వాడిని కొట్టితే వాడికి రక్తం వస్తే ఆ రక్తం చూసి నువ్వు పడిపోతే ఆ బ్రహ్మిగాడే లేచి నిన్ను హాస్పిటల్లో చేర్చాడు. ఇదిగో అన్ని పనులు నీతో గావు, ఇదిగో ఎందుకు నువ్వు. హీ వాస్ మిక్సింగ్ సమ్ విస్కీ అండ్ గివింగ్ టు దిస్, యు ఆర్ ద బెస్ట్ ఫర్ దిస్ వర్క్. వాట్ డస్ ఇట్ మీన్? It means even for doing a wrong work also, you need to apportion the energy level and the skill level. Ethics makes you to understand among your own staff, first your strength. What are you? Because at 25 or 23 or 24 years person, when you become a boss of a subdivision, when you are handling so much of complicated issues, including deaths, as a SDO, if you go and if there is a large gathering of the people, you have to give an order for police firing, and the police firing people may die in 10, 15, 20 numbers. It's possible. You are an SDPO, you are holding a raid against Naxalites, suddenly your constables are being killed, you have to open fire and some 10 Naxalites are killed, along with them some 20 ordinary tribals also can be killed. It happens in Chhattisgarh every day. So you can kill people. If you kill a person outside, you will be tried for section 302 of Indian Penal Code. But with the state power, if you kill person in the line of duty, you will get an award. You will get a police medal for gallantry, the service to the nation. That means the same killing, the same act, the same weapon, but the purpose is different for what you are doing. In other words, the 3 W's, why, what, when, all those and how, all this matters in ethics. When power is given, have you heard of this Lord Acton statement? Power corrupts, absolute power. Tell me, power corrupts, absolute power. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. What does it mean? Does it mean anything to you? I am giving this statement. Can anybody explain the meaning of this? Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. What does it mean? Anybody can tell me who told this? Who is the owner of this quotation? 10 rupees Paytm price. It was Lord Acton who told this, who was a minister in Churchill's government. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. It means whenever power is given, you are likely to misuse it, and if the power doesn't have any kind of limitations on it, you are likely to misuse it further. And this is called self-aggrandizement in English. It's called self-aggrandizement. That means I grab the power, I use it for my own purpose, forget about the people. Is it IAS or UAS? It's IAS, not YouTube. It is not U Administrative Service. It is Indian Administrative Service. In other words, the power is given for a particular purpose, and that purpose has to be channelized for its own work, and for that ethics is required. That's the reason why I am telling you, when we wrote the examination, there were 2 post graduations, but nothing was, I think of the ethics was called. But later on, ethics was. One second, I'll put it off. బాబు, ఈ ఫోన్ పట్టుకొని నేను ఆఫ్ చేసేస్తున్నాను, ఏదైనా వస్తే మరి చూసుకోదాన్ని. Last point before we go to the, I'll show you a few videos. Unless you take the interest in the subject, it will be appearing to be very boring to you. Now you have not written the preliminary examination. Preliminary examination is the toughest examination. When once you clear the preliminary examination, then only you will come to the mains. There are 6 papers in the mains. One is, of course, 2 papers are in your optionals and 4 are general studies. 1 essay is there. And if you cross all this, then you'll go to the interview. You know the marks. Each paper contains 250 marks, and normally 25 questions are there, 20 to 25 questions. Before reading, if you start reading the question paper, you will take half of the time. So general answering pattern that you have when you write the your BTech or your degree examination is, there is a choice. I will put my best self, I will give my best answer, so I will choose question number 3 first. That's what we do. You don't have that kind of strategy in civil services. How many of you read books generally? Please raise your hands. Not only academic books, other books, novels also. Nobody reads novels also? How many of you do not see YouTubes? No, nobody. So that means all of you see YouTubes. Please take it from me. Unless you read and you write, it will be difficult for you to sit in the competitive examinations and be successful. What are you doing, madam, when you read a book, madam? Tell me. When you read a book, what are you doing? Of course, you say, I am reading a book. Fine, that's okay. But apart from that, what are you doing? It can be a novel, a family feud. ససుర్ అంటే అత్త కోడళ్ళ అనుకో దాంట్లో ఏంది తెలుసుకోవడం ఏముంది దాంట్లో ప్రతి ఇంట్లో అత్త కోడళ్ళు ఉంటాయి కదా బట్ ఏంది మనం ఏం తెలుసుకుంటాం మనం వన్స్ యూ రీడ్ ఎ బుక్ వాట్ ఆర్ వి లర్నింగ్ అదొకటి ఉంది బట్ మై పాయింట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ఐఎమ్ డ్రైవింగ్ అట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ వెన్ యూ రీడ్ ఎ నావల్ వెన్ యూ రీడ్ ఎ బుక్ యూ ఆర్ ఎంటరింగ్ టు ద షూస్ ఆఫ్ ద పర్సన్ హూ రోట్ ద బుక్ యూ ఫర్గెట్ యువర్ సెల్ఫ్ యూ బికమ్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద రైటర్ హిస్ మూడ్స్ and also become part of the subject. Supposing you read Freedom Struggle. Have you read Freedom Struggle by Barun Dey, NCERT book or NBT book, National Book Trust book. Very cheap book, but read that book. Freedom Struggle. National Book Trust, hardly 100 rupees. Read that book. If your blood doesn't boil after reading that book, then never write civil service exam. First book I read in my life, full page to page was that book. How we as a nation were exploited. And then see today itself a movie called Richard Attenborough's The Gandhi. It's available on YouTube. How many of you have seen it already? None of you have seen. Please see. In Richard Attenborough's Gandhi, you will see the Indigo movement. Indigo movement. When did Indigo movement happen? 100 years ago, today. 1920s. And in that movie, you will show the difficulty that our countrymen were suffering because of the financial interests of the East India Company. And Gandhi becomes Mahatma after seeing that, and he started going to the whole country, visiting the whole country, and then he transforms himself. In that process, I am not saying you become Gandhi. I don't support all the points that he told. I am a fan of Chandrasekhar Azad. Just leave it up, leave that point apart. The main point issue I am hopping at is that unless you know about the country and the country's problems and read very well all the books that are meant, you will be able to appreciate this. Kindly, मैं हाथ जोड़ के आपको बोलता हूँ ये बात, आपको सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जामिनेशन कोई एग्जामिनेशन नहीं है, तपस्या है ये. देश को लर्न करना, देश को जानना, देश की जानने के माध्यम से अपने आप को जानना. यानी దేశం గురించి తెలుసుకోవడం ద్వారా మనల్ని మనం గుర్తుంచుకోవడం, మనల్ని మనం తెలుసుకోవడం, మనం ఎలాగా దేశ సేవలో ఇన్వాల్వ్ అవుతాము, ఈ దేశం నాది అని ఎలా గట్టిగా చెప్పుకోగలుగుతాము. కేవలం ఓటు వేసేటప్పుడు చెప్తామా? 5 ఏళ్లకు ఒకసారి కాదుగా. దానికోసం అని చెప్తున్నాను, ప్లీజ్ కల్టివేట్ ద హ్యాబిట్ ఆఫ్ రీడింగ్. వెన్ యూ రీడ్, యూ విల్ అండర్స్టాండ్ who was Lord Acton and why did he tell power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. A question may come in the ethics examination. Statement given, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts, elucidate. You must know that Lord Acton said this. And he sold it in the context of the corruption in England. And he was the trade exchequer, he was the finance minister at that point of time. And he was in the knowledge of many cases, and he was also Lord Acton. What do you mean by Lord Acton? He was also part of the justice group. In England, Lord means he is also a judge. He is the member of the upper house there. They call House of Lords. And member of House of Lords is also a justice. He can dispose of the cases. So as a justice and also before that as a minister, he was in charge of certain investigations. And in investigations, he has also become a judge. And then he says, and that saying is so apt today. I'll show you a few videos and how many of you are aware that 49 people died yesterday and today in Tamil Nadu? In Kallakurchi, right? You are aware. Why did they die? Consumption of what? Coca-Cola? It's called pink cola something. They are saying that. In small pouches it's available. When the government itself becomes part of the, this activity instead of controlling, when the government itself becomes an encourager of this kind of activity, mafia activity, people become victims. What went wrong? Supposing this question comes. Was TSPSC responsible for this? TSPSC is the organization which was supposed to control. The Chief Minister, Thiru M.K. Stalin, has suspended the local SP, transferred the DM. Was he right in doing so? One DSP was arrested. One bootlegger was arrested. You also must know why I started this class with that case is because this entire institute of whistleblowing and exposing the government misdoings came through an incident in 1925 in Seattle, wherein in Seattle is a city in North America, near the Canada border on the USA, in different state in Washington. I had been there last year. And in that, he was caught and he was given 25 years of punishment. One person exposed him, and that person was also, instead of giving protection, he was also prosecuted. Then the government of USA passed Whistleblowers Act. I recommend this book for all of you to read once you have time. An extraordinary book which describes the importance of ethics in whistleblowing. What is meant by whistleblowing? I'll tell you what is meant by whistleblowing. Whistleblowing, why we blow whistle?
Alert or call.
Yes. Have you seen all your security guards having whistle?
Yes.
Have you ever seen a policeman doing whistle? Maybe in black and white cinemas you must have seen. Right? Like that. Not nowhere anymore. Everyone is with a cell phone nowadays. Law and order चल रहा है, लोग मर रहा है, सेल फोन में साहब बिजी है. फेसबुक में कितना लाइक्स आ रहा है. Very unfortunate. I used to suspend those kind of fellows when I was the boss. Are you interested in solving the problem, or you are just transmitting? Are you an anchor of a TV? Why the whistle is given to policemen or a security is, as she is correctly pointed out, alert people that something wrong, terrible is happening. And second point which she did not tell is calling for the intervention of the state authorities. Why state authorities? Because the state is supposed to protect you. If there is a theft case in your house, madam, when you lodge an FIR, the case against somebody who has stolen your property, how is the case termed? You may not be knowing, but I'll tell you. State versus X. X is the criminal. X has committed some robbery in your house. You know that. When you lodge an FIR, when it goes to trial, it will say state versus X. Why? In fact, it should have been you versus X, because it was your house which was robbed, not the state's house. Where state is coming? Police is filing FIR, fine. Police is like a bank. SBI, you go and deposit some money, SBI gives you something. You can also go to S Bank also, they will also give you. Why state versus F?
They are responsible.
Who is responsible? Police is responsible for prevention, and hence they are taking the case. Then why state? Why not government? Why not Telangana versus Mr. Linga Reddy or Ranga Reddy or something? Why? I'll tell you. State means four things. Anybody can tell me what are the four things? State means? First is population, second is territory, third is government, and fourth is sovereignty. State means that. State means this. Constitution of India. All of you should buy this book immediately. Please buy. Read every page. And Government of India publishes this. This is a private publication. Government of India publishes this around 250 or like that. Buy that. Read it. Constitution of India. The state versus X means state has taken the responsibility to give you protection. State argues on your behalf. State takes back your property and hands over to you. State thinks you are the state. We the people of India. That's what preamble says. What the preamble says? We the people of India, having constituted India into a sovereign, social, secular, democratic republic, and to give to ourselves this day on 26th November 1949, this constitution guaranteeing the liberty, equality and fraternal justice to all, and to give to ourselves this constitution. That's what preamble is. Preamble is the commitment that all of us has given to every one of us. This statement, I made a big, very big statement. Have you understood this meaning of this statement? What did I say, madam? Just now, what did I say? Anybody repeat? What did I say just now about preamble? Please. Unless you match my energy, it will not be useless. It will be useful, useless. What did I say just now? I will again repeat and I'll ask you to say it again. Preamble is the commitment that we, all of us, have to make to each and every one of us, that we will protect you. All to each, from toto to minor, from major to minor. All is India, you as an individual citizen. All will come to your help when you are in trouble. That's what constitution means. What is constitution, madam? This body is a constitution of hands, legs, head, right? This is a constitution. Constitution is also that. It's an arrangement of the systems of governance we as people gave it to ourselves. And that's why we have written that in preamble. The preamble is that commitment, a promise made by all to all of us, to every one of us, that no one. That's a very sacred document. That's why every law has to be subservient to. Have you heard of what's called basic structure of the constitution? Basic structure. By accidentally, anybody have heard of Keshavananda Bharati, this name? Yes. Accidentally? Madam, tell me why. Where did you hear? Sir, Keshavananda Bharati was a person who lived on the earth and one day he died. That's correct. No doubt. It's true. But who was Keshavananda Bharati? రాజ్యాంగ పరిరక్షకుడు కాదు నాయన. ఆయన కేసు వేశాడు 73లో. ప్రియాంబుల్ కాదు, అది వేరు కేసు. He was a Matadipati in Kerala. He started a case that fundamental rights have to be protected and fundamental rights should not be amended. Then a 13-bench government, 13-bench Supreme Court, judged it, and which Nani Phalkiwala, the then eminent, he argued on behalf of Keshavananda Bharati. And in 2023, we celebrated 50 years of completion of that. We invented a scheme called basic structure of the constitution. You may ask me, sir, in what way it is linked to ethics? It is. Two basic books I told you today to read. One is what? Freedom Struggle. Second is Constitution of India. These two books you must. It's a basic thing. You start it with. And other NCERT books. So that, as I told, and one more thing I told you, you read. As much as you read, that much exposure you will have. And whenever you read a newspaper, how many of you read newspapers today? Hindu or Indian Express? Good. When you read a newspaper, you also read it from the point of view of general studies. Supposing this question comes from an ethical point, ethics paper, how I am going to answer. Today in Hindu, this Tasmak case was discussed in the editorial. In the Hindu. You must read that. Sometimes you must cut it and preserve it. You can quote this. For example, you remember this. You can quote it when you answer, in your answer. With statistics. Because this case wherein 49 people died yesterday and today, this is not a new case. Last year also the same case happened. And government did not learn anything. Mr. Annamalai, who is the BJP president, who is known to me very well, is a good friend of mine, young person, very good friend of mine. He was SP of Chikmagalur. I went there and I had my ultra marathon, 50 kilometers marathon. Okay. And in that process, I knew him very well. And he was also critical of this. Governments refuse to learn. What does it mean? When governments refuse to learn, governments expedite misgovernance. The faith of the people on the government through this great book will get tarnished. And there ethics comes. Who runs the government? I am asking a fundamental question. What is meant by government? Of course, it is an important constituent of state. The third constituent. The first constituent is what? What? Population. The second one? Third one? Fourth one? Exactly. The third one is the government. Where is the fault of the government in these 49 deaths? Tell me. Let us discuss for 1 minute. Where is the fault of this government? Unless you understand this, there is no point in studying ethics. Regulations. What regulation? Law. Protection of the people, right?
About what are the things to be given to public and what are
The government was supposed to
stop
establish anti-prohibition. That is, what is prohibition there? Prohibition means illicit liquor should not be available to the people. People can only drink from government controlled shops. That was what it is. It was not happening. People got that. When methanol was mixed, methanol is deadly. Methanol immediately attacks your liver, it attacks your heart, it attacks your eyes. All the three together. And yesterday when it started with 5, then become 22, then become 29, then become 36, today it's 49. And I am sure it will touch 100. And government said 10 lakhs each. Is it government? I am not critical of any government. I am not saying that government has done this. But where is the failure of the government there? The failure of the government is in prevention. The failure of the government is not learning from previous year's experience and not able to prevent its recurrence. And where do you see the breaking of this book? In the preamble, we the people of India. Because state government is also part of this constitution. This basic faith, the document, the faith, the legitimate expectations of the citizens of the country on the constituent government of Tamil Nadu were not handled properly. And that's the reason why 49 people died. And each person, when he dies, there's an impact on the family, isn't it? One family becomes orphan. There is a case today, I read it in Hindu. There are 3 teenage children who became orphans because their mother and the father both become victims. You must also know there is an item called Directive Principles of State Policy in the Constitution. What does it mean? What is Directive Principle of State Policy? Anybody can explain to me? Anybody? What is Directive Principles of State Policy? Have you ever heard of it? What is that?
Duties of the state towards the people.
Duties of the state towards the people. You are right. She is right broadly. Directive Principles of State Policy means that the government, that is the state, has given to itself the mandate that it must do these things in the interest of the people. Prevention of cow slaughter, equality in the society, seeing that the rich doesn't become richer and poor doesn't become poor, universal adult education, enforcement of prohibition, protection of the rights of children and women, maintenance of communal harmony. These are all the directive principles of the state policy. From Article 37 onwards they start. From Article 12 to 36 they are fundamental rights. From Article 37 onwards to 51 they are directive principles. After that there is fundamental duties. The fundamental rights are rights of the citizens against the state. Directive principles are the targets given to the government by the government through the constitution, and fundamental duties are those duties which every citizen is expected to do, which was added in the 42nd amendment of the constitution by Madam Indira Gandhi in 1976. That part was allowed. In the 43rd amendment, when the Janata Party government came, there were many things were revealed, but not this fundamental duty, and also an amendment to the preamble. We were not a socialist secular government. When Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar wrote this constitution, or he was the drafting committee chairman, or Benigala Shyamsundar Rao, our own Telugu man, who was the main person, or Alladi Kuppuswamy Iyer, so many great people were there. All of them gave us this constitution in which it was written, it was only sovereign democratic republic. But Indira Gandhi madam added socialist and secular. Maybe this government one day maybe remove that, but that was not required. In any case, we were secular, we were also socialist. That was our planning, because Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru adopted the planning process, the Panchavarsha Pranalika, all that. That was part of your socialistic form of government. Anyway, main issue for you is to know this is the government's promise is legitimacy and protection of the interests of the people. When they fail to do that, people suffer. When protectors become, another statement I am giving, I will ask you, I will request you to listen to carefully and right now analyze and let me know the meaning of it. When protectors become predators, people have nowhere to go except become victims of their own fate. When protectors become predators, people have nowhere to go except to become victims of their own fate. When protectors become predators, people have nowhere to go except to become victims of their own fate. 3 times I have repeated. What does it indicate to you? What does it mean? Anything it meant to you? Or a combination of some few English words? What is meant by predating? Predator?
Feeding on something attacking prey.
Predators means those who kill for eating. When protector became predators. Because I wrote, all of you know a little bit of Hindi? Yes. Can I say something in Hindi? Yes, sir. Can I? Yes, sir. जब बचाने वाले बेचने लगते हैं, आचार विचार व्यभिचार हो जाती है, शासन शोषण हो जाती है, भागवत बगावत हो जाती है. That means that. बचाने वाले बेचने लगते हैं. The government of Tamil Nadu was supposed to protect the people from being educated of not drinking even alcohol at the government shop. All right, they are going to government shop. You go to any place, you stow a throne from Ashok Nagar, this place, what is this place called? Gandhi Nagar. So appropriately named. Gandhi. So you take a stone, కళ్ళు మూసుకొని ఇట్లా తిరుగుతా కూడా అట్లా వేయండి. ఐఎమ్ షూర్ 100% ఇట్ విల్ గో అండ్ ఫాల్ ఇన్ ఏ గవర్నమెంట్ అరాక్ షాప్. ప్రభుత్వ సారాయి దుకాణము, ప్రసాదు ప్రభుత్వ సారాయి దుకాణం. It will go and fall. And the one thing common I have seen in the entire country, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu and West Bengal or Telangana, Andhra, is huge crowds only in front of arak shops. Huge crowds. Look, cumulative. Are we not a failure? There are only some states which prohibited. Bihar has done very successfully. Gujarat has done very successfully. That's why Human Development Index is going on very well. Anyway, coming to main point, the faith is attacked. Now coming to the last point of my introduction to you. What is government? What is government? What is government? It's the third part of the state, but what is it? क्या है सरकार? लाल बत्ती में घूमने वाले है क्या सरकार? गाड़ियों में ऑर्डर देने वाले, पावर का साथ व्यवसाय करने वाले, बड़े बड़े आदमी लोगों से उठा बटा करने वाले, या बड़े बड़े आदमी लोगों से पैसा देके गरीबों को हत्या करने वाले, क्या है सरकार? Where is the state, madam? Government is part of the state, which means work for the people, ordinary people, all people, right? Irrespective of discrimination. What is it? It is a structure, it is a function, it is an institution. Who is part of that institution? All of you are here to become part of that government, right? Why are you here at 2 o'clock instead of watching a movie? Why? फेसबुक में कोई अच्छा बोल के हाउ मेनी लाइक्स और डिसलाइक्स उसका काउंट करने वजह से इस बोरिंग लेक्चर को सुनने के लिए क्यों हो आप इधर? व्हाई? बिकॉज यू वांट टू बिकम गवर्नमेंट. व्हाट इज दैट एडवांटेज यू आर बिकमिंग व्हेन यू बिकम पार्ट ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट? डू यू हैव एनी एडवांटेज? मैडम, व्हाई डू यू वांट टू बिकम अ गवर्नमेंट सर्वेंट? That means basically you want to work for self-actualization. You want to identify yourself through welfare of the people, right? Right? इसको थोड़ा रिकॉर्ड कीजिएगा, मैं बोल रहा हूँ सामने आके. Please come here. and share it with me. I am going to tell you a very important thing. The God has given me two hands and with 10 fingers. And with these 2 hands and 10 fingers, I can remove the tears of 10 persons. And when I go to a polling booth, you can see the mark here, voting mark. I am given the mark here. Recently, I was election observer in Jharkhand and before that in Bihar, last parliament elections. I was telling people why the mark is given on this finger. Why not here? Why not on this here? Why not here? In fact, this is the best one, LTI, left thumb impression. They should have given it here. Why here? Then nobody answered. I answered my own question. Because if somebody comes and tells me where is the government office, I will show with this finger. That means I am telling the person whom I am electing as an MP or MLA, hey MP, I am sending you to the House of Parliament. You will damn well serve me. I am showing you the way how to serve me. That is why on this finger, this Pavitra Chikn is given. When I become the government, I have the power, the lathi in my hand, the gun in my hand, or also the administration in my hand, and I serve the people. I remove the tears with both my hands. I self-actualize myself. I become their father and their mother of the people in distress. When people do come to a civil servant to discuss whether వాతావరణం డిస్కస్ చేయడానికి వస్తారా మన దగ్గరికి? ఎందుకు వస్తారు? సమస్యలుంటే వస్తారు, దిక్కు చోతకు వస్తారు, ఇంకెక్కడికి పోలేక వస్తారు, ఎవరిని అడిగినా ఏమి చేయాలన్నది అసహాయ స్థితిలో వస్తారు. అయ్యా నీవు తప్ప నాకు దిక్కు లేదని. భగవంతుల్లో నీలో భగవంతుడిని చూస్తారు, చేతులెత్తి దండం పెడతారు. అంత హోపు నీ మీద ఎందుకు? ఎందుకంటే రెపరెపరాడే ఆ త్రివర్ణ పతాకానికి ఉట్టిన జెండా కర్ర ఉందే, ఆ కర్రే నువ్వు. అందుకని వస్తాను నీ దగ్గరికి. హోప్తో వస్తారు. నేను వెళ్తే నా పాకెట్ ఖాళీ చెయ్యరు, నా కిడ్నీలు అమ్ముకోరు, నా ఆస్తిని రాయించుకోరు, నా ఆస్తి మీద తల పొంటం వేసుకొని దాన్ని తాకట్టు పెట్టి డబ్బులు తీసుకొని లండన్కి పారిపోరు అన్న నమ్మకంతో వస్తారు నీ దగ్గరికి. దానికోసం అది గవర్నమెంట్ అంటే. ఆ గవర్నమెంట్ సర్వెంట్ దగ్గరకి మనం వెళ్ళినప్పుడు దట్ గవర్నమెంట్ సర్వెంట్, బికాస్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఎ గవర్నమెంట్, ఈజ్ అ గవర్నమెంట్ ఆఫీసర్. టుడే వీఆర్ మేకింగ్ విత్ అ గవర్నమెంట్ సర్వెంట్, పీపుల్స్ సర్వెంట్. వాట్ ఈస్ ద ఆఫీసర్ అండ్ సర్వెంట్ డిఫరెన్స్? కెన్ ఎనీబడి టెల్ మీ? బాస్, థ్యాంక్ యూ, యూ షేర్ విత్ మీ. ఎందుకంటే దిస్ స్నిప్పెట్స్ వోంట్ కమ్ రైట్ వెన్ వీ ఎమోషనల్లీ టెల్ సమ్ థింగ్స్ అండ్ ద ఎంటైర్ కంట్రీ షుడ్ సీ దిస్. దట్స్ వై. ఎనీవే, యూ లైక్డ్ ఇట్? This explanation?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. You must come with this spirit. మీరు చాలా ఓపెన్ బ్రెయిన్తో వచ్చారు. యు ఆర్ ఆల్ లైక్ మై చిల్డ్రన్, మై సన్స్ అండ్ డాటర్స్. నేను ఎందుకు చెప్తున్నానంటే కావాలనేది నాలో ఉండే అదే. నేను చాలా చేశాను. యూ కెన్ గో అండ్ సర్చ్ అబౌట్ మీ ఇన్ యూట్యూబ్, యూ విల్ ఫైండ్ అవుట్ అబౌట్ మీ. అది కాదు విషయం. మీరు ఎందుకు వస్తున్నారని తెలియాలి బాబు. అమ్మాయి ఒక మాట ఉంది, రెస్పెక్ట్ ఉందని. ఎందుకు ఆ రెస్పెక్ట్ ఇస్తున్నారు మీకు? గవర్నమెంట్ అంటే అమ్మకం కాదు, నమ్మకం. గవర్నమెంట్ అంటే అమ్మకం కాదు, నమ్మకం. నేను వెళ్తే నా దేహాన్ని, నా కళ్ళని, నా కిడ్నీని అమ్మరు అక్కడ. నాతో పాటు వ్యవసాయం చేయరు, నాతో పాటు వ్యాపారం చేయరు, నా ట్రబుల్స్ని తీసుకొని ఆనందించరు, పైశాచిక స్వైర విహారం చేయరు నా ట్రబుల్స్ తీసుకొని. నా వెనకయ్యే నేను ఏ కమ్యూనిటీ, నా కాస్ట్ ఏంటి, నా రీజియన్ ఏంటి అని ఆలోచించరు. నా సమస్య ఏంటి, నీ సమస్యకు నేను సమాధానం అని చెప్పే వ్యవస్థ పేరే సర్కార్. అర్థమైందా? సర్కార్ అంటే నీ సమస్యకి నేను సమాధానం. నేనున్నంత వరకు నిన్ను ఏ గూండాలు, ఏ బద్మాసులు ఏం చేయలేరు. సర్వరక్ష సుదర్శన చక్రం AK-47 is meant for you. And in that process of serving the people, you will get their respect. And what is that respect for? That respect is to make you drive to further help, Today she is helping one person, tomorrow she will help 1,000 persons, day after tomorrow she will help the whole country. There are civil servants like this in this country. They did not go to US. Even I did not go to US for that matter. You may not be knowing, but I must tell you this. I've got 3 PhDs. Some of you may be knowing it. But this PhDs and all that was not meant for going and getting money. This is meant for serving the people. The government gives you that ethical power. You know, the best power is that ethical power. When power is combined with morality, when power is combined with responsibility, she said one more thing, that respect will come with responsibility. When fulfill that expectation, legitimacy, credibility, expectation, reputation. Here is the he. As long as he is there in the chair, I can go and approach him and get all my works done. The IAS and the IPS for which all of you have come here, the All India services, it is only these 2 services which have got the maximum hope of the people of this country. Even after 75 years of independence on these 2. And before that for 100 years. Civil Services Commission was there almost 200 years ago it was there. You may not be knowing, but if anybody knows, I will be very happy. Which rank Subhash Chandra Bose got in the civil service examination when he wrote? 4th rank. Why did he resign and came back? He did not participate in he did not undergo, he would have become a chief secretary or something. He didn't. He wrote a letter. He must have you read that letter? Please read that letter. In this, he writes that the call of the mother, the call of the mother of my nation, Bharat Mata, I have come here to serve the country. In other words, civil services was there as a steel frame, but it was Sardar Patel Sahab who continued it. Why? Government actually means civil services. That is what I want to tell you. Politicians will come and go. Politicians, what is the importance of a politician in a government? Anybody? Why we elect a politician? Don't we know the law? IAS से भी जाते जानता है क्या politician? अंगूठा छाप वाला? चपंडी?
He's from us, no sir, one of us. He's one of us, he knows all of
Right, madam. No. Why don't you know this when you become a civil servant? You read Freedom Struggle, you read this, you read so many books. You know the problems. You have been in 30, 40 years. This man all of a sudden comes from, his son of somebody. He comes from London. He elects and he becomes a minister. What does he know? What does he know? He's son of somebody. His mother or father died. He becomes the prime minister. What does he know? He was a pilot earlier. You understand what I'm saying? A politician is important because the constitution says that ours is a democracy. What is meant by democracy? Demos means people. Cracy means form of government. Bureaucracy. Democracy. What is the difference between republicanism and democracy? Tell me. What is the difference? What is republic? Ours is a republic or a non-republic? Non-republic. Republic. Why do you call it a republic? Sir, there is January 26th we celebrate and people distribute sweets on that day. Government is holiday. Sir, unfortunately on that day even arak shops are also closed. That's okay. Why do we celebrate Republic Day on January 26th? Right. You can say constitutional form of government. Why should you have a republic form of government?
We elect our leaders.
No, that is democracy.
So people made constitution from the government.
Where is the republic there part of it? What is re there? Where is the re? Where is the re? I'll tell you. Nobody will tell you this. Note it from me. You want to know or no?
Yes, sir.
That's right? Yes, sir. Sure? I'm not able to hear. Yes, sir. Or loud? Or loud? Yes, sir. Good. Republic means re actually means the king. Re. Rex versus lex. Lex versus lex. Lex means the law. Rex means the king. If you go to the British, It used to be like, for example, state versus X here, it will be Ray versus X there. King versus A. Ray means regent. Regent means king. So public becomes the king, that's why it's called republic. By the people, of the people, serve the people. Who told this? Thank you very much. I'm so happy that you have heard of Abraham Lincoln. Who was he, Abraham Lincoln? President of USA. Which party does he belong to? Yes, he was a Republican. He was a Republican. And its Republican party is also called GOP, Grand Old Party. GOP. So republic, when you say republic, it also means there are no kings, there are no monarchies. कोई వంశ పారంపర్య హక్కులు లేవు, రాజు కొడుకే రాజు కావాలనే చట్టం లేదు, మంత్రి కొడుకే మంత్రి కావాలనే చట్టం లేదు, ఎవడైనా రాజు కావచ్చు. Republican is the end, democracy is the means. People become the rulers. No king. We are not under a monarchy. We elect our leader. And his leader serves us by governing us, not by ruling us. Never use the word rule in the civil services. Please note down this point. Never use the word rule. Only kings rule. Leaders serve the people. Be very careful about the terminology. Now, this Republican and democracy we told, and the government and the civil services. We are talking about civil services. Civil services, the government. We call civil and services. Why civil and services? What is so civilian about it? Civil. What is the antonym of civil word, madam? Antonym means opposite word. What is opposite word of civil? Uncivil, non-civil, civil, private. No, civilians can be private also. Search out and let me know tomorrow. Now, criminal and civil, that's a formation of law, you are right, but they are two different parts. They are not opposite to each other. Civil law and criminal law. Civil actually means and connotes that you abide by the law. The opposite word of civil is a person who is anti-law, against the law. Civil means నాగరికడం. నాగరికుడు అంటే నగరంలో ఉండేవాడు, నాగరికత్వం ఉన్నవాడు, మరియు నగర పాలక సిద్ధాంతాలన్నింటినీ కూడా ఆకళింపు చేసుకొని వాటిని సర్వదా శతదా అనుసరించేవాడు మరియు వాటిని గౌరవించేవాడు. అది సివిలియన్ అంటే. So the word civil services means a group of persons who by law and of law and for law exist and implement the same. And what is the function of civil people? Services. What are those services? All the ministries which you see today in both central and state governments, union and state government, they are all services. Public services, health services, civil supply services, library services, security services, transport services, civil aviation services, all of them are services. Every minister, law, legal services. So that means civil services are those services which gives you a scope to serve the people in different required areas. Is that clear to you now why you want to come to civil services? I will put it in one word. I just now repeated three times. What was that I repeated 3 times? Just now I repeated. I am going to ask a question on that. What was that? Forgotten? Protectors, when they become predators, people are left with no choice but to become victims of their own fate. You understood now meaning?
Yes.
Here, civil services, when they abdicate responsibility. Have you heard of this word abdication? Abdication. Have you heard this English word abdication? Never heard? In life?
No, sir.
In life? You have to buy A.S. Hornby's English dictionary, that also keep it with you. English dictionary. Abdication means leaving, giving it up, sacrificing, leaving it up. Abdicating responsibility means I am not, చేతులు దులుపుకోవడం, మన తెలుగులో అంటారే చేతులు దులుపుకోవడం, అది నాకు సంబంధం లేదు, ఇది దీంతో నాకు అసలు సంబంధమే లేదు, అదనమాట. అది 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 అబ్డికేషన్ అంటే. వెన్ గవర్నమెంట్ అబ్డికేట్స్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ టువర్డ్స్ ద పీపుల్ అండ్ గవర్నమెంట్ ఆల్సో బికమ్స్ మాఫియా, then people have nothing to do but Bhagavan Bharosa. They become, fate means Bhagavan only, probability. There's nobody to protect. Here comes the role of civil servants and ethics. I'll conclude, I'll stop it here before I go, but if you have any doubts, please ask me. I'm stopping it here by concluding this, that civil services have got the onerous responsibility on their shoulders to serve the people through a channelized functional system which is mentioned in the constitution as per rules, because they embody the rules. The rule is not ruling, the rule is a guiding principle. Why do you use a rule? A rule is used to put lines, straight lines. A rule is not to use to remove his teeth. It can be used, it can be misused. A ruler can be misused. In our olden days, our teachers used to beat us with the rule. I have heard so many times. I had my own quota, and I am thankful to them. Because of them, I am here today. So they were very dedicated people. They used to beat their own children also. It's not that they used to discriminate. So those teachers are different. So the point is, rules should not be ruling. Rules should be there to guide a civil servant, and ethics are embodied in the rules. Any rule that goes against the ethics or morals is no rule. It is exploitation. And that is why this book has got the provision of amending itself. Have you heard of word amending?
Yes, sir.
What is amending?
Making a change.
Making a change. Mending and amending. Mending means what? Mending means beautifully cultivating a change without totally destroying the entirety. That is what meant. Change can be anything. That's why we don't use the word change. While we retain the essence of that book, we may little bit of tinker here and there, some details, so that the book retains its essentiality called the basic structure according to Keshwarananda Bharati, and yet a rule, when such a rule becomes a non-rule, a rule that becomes unethical, a rule becomes exploitative, a rule becomes predatory, I change that rule. That's why I study ethics. And without studying ethics, I can't do that. I don't even know whether to follow this rule or not. Your boss may tell, supposing she is a SDPO under me, I am the SP, I will ask her to go and kill that person. She is smuggling narcotics, to go and kill. This SDPO, because I am the boss, she will take a gun and kill. Shall she do that? Why? And why not? Tell me, why and why not? I told her, I empowered her, I gave an order. And if she doesn't follow my order, she will be insubordinating. I can throw her out of the service. This is an ethical dilemma. This is called an ethical dilemma, which is part of your syllabus. She had that dilemma. Boss gives that an order to kill. She may be a danger to the society. Ultimately, she may be killed by the law. If the law says, if anybody, even there in Singapore, supposing you smuggle narcotics, the other day one lady was hanged in Singapore. You are likely to be hanged. In US, if you does it, you are in imprisonment for 250 years. 250 years only. Your dead body is also kept after 150 years after you die in the United States. So, that there, but even then, she cannot do that. I will give you the answer. Even if I give in writing, she won't do it. She should not do it, because the job of eliminating a person's life is that of the court of law in this country. Ultimately, the President of India, who has the right to give the clemency of, even the Supreme Court confirms the judgment of capital punishment, it is the President who can undo that, give a clemency and give the right to life. And the President of India, according to this book, is empowered to be the supreme commander of the forces of the country. Bharat ki Rashtrapati. And Bharat ki Rashtrapati is the person under whose gazette all the IAS officers and the IPS officers are appointed. He is the appointing authority. And appointing authority only is the disciplinary authority. This is called principle of natural justice. Got it? So she won't do that. She should not do it. And I cannot dismiss her from service because she is doing a legal work. And how does she know about it? When she masters the book, when she masters the ethics, when she listens to this class carefully. Clear? Madam? Clear? To you I am asking you, madam. Clear? Any doubts from now till now? Clear now everything?
Yes, sir.
Have you been a little bit benefit to you?
Yes, sir.
Have you got some benefit?
Yes, sir.
Good. Nice. If you don't have a question, then I have one small question. And that question is, what is the difference between law and morality? Are they contradictory? Are they separate?
They do save our moral values in society.
You mean to say law is different from morality?
No.
You are all right. I'll tell you. Morality actually connotes customs. మన ఆచారాలు, మన వ్యవహారాలు. అబద్ధం చెప్పకూడదు, తల్లిదండ్రులను గౌరవించాలి. These are all morals. Law has not compelled you. You may disrespect your parent. You may not listen to your father, mother. Law comes out of morals. Law says you may not respect or may respect, but you can't abandon your parents on the road. If you do that, you can be controlled. Recently a law has been made. Law is a command of the sovereign. All right, I am warning you, and if you don't do this, I am going to punish you. Law essentially means a guiding principle for civilians to abide by it so that no civilian rights are in contradiction with the rights of his fellow human being. That her rights will not contradict her rights, and both of them rights will not contradict their rights. And I am here to maintain the symbiotic equanimity and synchronization among all of them. Mind all the words that I am using. These words only you must utilize, you must use. You can't use simple words. And don't write in bracket in Telugu. Because nobody is going to evaluate your answer scripts. But understand in Telugu. If you want to ask me, if you have any problem in knowing this English word, please ask me. I'm good. I can reasonably explain to you in Telugu. No problem. But understand it. Use the correct words. Is that clear? Can we go ahead with our videos for some time? थोड़ा साउंड.
जिसके भीतर का विद्यार्थी कभी मरता नहीं. कई लोग मुझे इस चुनाव में भी और हमेशा मैं पिछले 30 साल से ये सवाल सुन के थक चुका हूँ. इतनी एनर्जी लाते कहाँ से हो? थकते क्यों नहीं हो? मुझे लोग पूछते रहते हैं. लेकिन वो मेरे बॉडी को तराप रहे हैं. मेरी बॉडी में क्या खाता हूँ, कितना सोता हूँ, मैं योगा कितना करता हूँ. अब वो गलत ट्रैक पर है कि मेरी एनर्जी का रहस्य उनको पता नहीं है. मेरी एनर्जी का रहस्य मैं जीवन भर भीतर के विद्यार्थी को जिंदा रखता हूँ. और जो व्यक्ति अपने भीतर विद्यार्थी को जिंदा रखता है वो कभी भी सामर्थ्यहीन नहीं होता है, शक्तिहीन नहीं होता है और आलसी नहीं होता है. वो हर काम ऊर्जा से
Yes, stop it. I'll tell you the meaning of this. You should identify yourself with something bigger than your own immediate life. And you should be an eternal student. That's why I recommended you to read. Writing makes an exact man, reading makes an intelligent man. And women also. So, if you want to be an eternal student in your life, learning, a thirst to learn, and reading and interacting and learning new things. P.V. Narasimha Rao ji, when he became the Prime Minister in 1991, he was about to become a sannyasi. Next day he was to become a sannyasi to a mutt in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu. And then Rajiv Gandhi Saab has died, and then he was called and then he became the PM in the elections when the Congress got 234 seats. In those days, in 1991, the first time the Foxtrot computers came, typing and all that. We were trainees in those days. We just completed. I became SDP of Bangam. He came. I met him, Prime Minister in Calcutta. I did the duties also, and learn from me, know from me. This man was so enthusiastic. At that age, he was learning the computer skills, apart from the different languages. What does it mean? If you are a Prime Minister or anybody, you should have the constant learning. My recommendation, all of you are going to write, I wish all of you to realize your dreams. But even if you don't, particular dream, I said dreams. Do not have one dream only. The real dream is empowerment of his skills. The real dream is self-respect. How do you get the self-respect? Learning. When self-respect comes, when you are today a bit better than you were yesterday. And what is the difference between today and yesterday? Your own effort for the past 24 hours that made you a better human being today. By reading something, by knowing something, by helping somebody. Do not remain only by reading. Actualize that. Help some people. At least give 5 rupees to a genuine person who is in difficulty. Feed at least a crow. Feed a bird. Give some water. Why I am telling you, it's not because of dharma. Because it makes you happy psychologically. Today morning also I struggled, found out a good swimming pool and I swam for nearly some 500 meters. 25 into 20 for 1 hour. I will feel so energetic. At now it's 15, 16. At this time I am energetic. Am I not? Yes. So where it comes? It comes because of enthusiasm. It comes because of an extreme degree of willingness to help you. That's where it is. That's what Honorable Prime Minister was also telling. You become that. So it doesn't matter whether you become a PM or a DM, district magistrate, or a Prime Minister or a CM. There are only 3 M's, right? BM, DM and CM. You may not be there. But you can always function like them. Helping others doesn't require that you should be a CM or DM or PM. Anybody can help. Be enthusiastic. Ultimately, boss, remember one thing. You are your best friend and you are also your worst enemy. खुद का भाग्य विधाता खुद है. इसलिए अपने हाथ में सब रेखा अपनी हाथ में रहता है, किसी दूसरों के लिए नहीं. और अपनी हाथ की रेखा किसी दूसरों की कलम से कभी मत लिखना. उसका कलम उसका है, उसका रेखा वो खुद लिखेगा. अपना रेखा हम खुद लिखेंगे. अपनी भाग्य विधाता हम खुद बनेंगे. That's what our ultimate ethics is. Okay, next please.
Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world. It even surpasses major oil-rich nations like Saudi Arabia and Iraq. Despite this wealth, Venezuela's economy has fallen apart over the past 2 decades. Poverty levels have increased dramatically. Venezuela was once a Spanish colony. It later fought for independence, influenced by Enlightenment ideas and revolutions in America and France. In the early 20th century, Venezuela discovered oil. This made it a major player in the global oil industry. Oil revenues fueled economic growth. However, relying too much on oil caused economic instability. This was worsened by global geopolitical events, corruption, and mismanagement. Policies like nationalization and more state control made things worse. Venezuela's finances suffered, leading to a severe economic crisis with hyperinflation and shortages. Why is Venezuela so poor, despite having so much oil? Venezuela has the largest oil reserves in the world.
Oh, yes. Stop.
Major oil-rich nations like Saudi Arabia and Iraq.
I would have been happy if one of you asked me, sir, why are you showing Venezuela to us? Anyone has that question in your mind? No? Sir, I think you have that question. You don't have. I request one of you to have, please.
So,
You have. Thank you, madam. He also has. Why I wanted to show Venezuela is it's a very oil-rich country. It followed some of our leaders' models. I don't want to name them. Sub free. एक bottle brandy free. एक kg रसगुल्ला फ्री. अगर डायबिट होगा तो मेडिसिन फ्री. अगर डायबिटिक से आंखें चला जाएगा आंखें फ्री. अगर मर जाओगे तो कोई मॉर्चुरी वैन फ्री. अगर एक डेड बॉडी नहीं 2 डेड बॉडी दोनों को फ्यूनरल फ्री. एवरी फ्री. ये कर दिया उस कंट्री ने. Ultimately, the oil-rich resources of this country has, when you become one commodity economy, when you are dependent on the oil that was not given by you. Who gave that oil? The nature. That oil belongs to the whole universe. Pacific Ocean is owned by US or Pacific Ocean is owned by all? Not only human beings, all other beings, non-beings, everyone, including the whales inside the Pacific Ocean. They also have a right to life. You know which country is in the world which has gone for the rights of the earth? There's one country in South America. Tomorrow I'll tell you. I have mentioned it in my LLD thesis. There's one country which is fighting for the rights of the earth. Even earth has rights, fundamental rights against pollution. Now this country being one single commodity country, it was so dependent on oil that its people are so poor today, and its currency, $1 is equal to some 3,000 pesos or something. Our rupee is also very costly there. Our rupee is treated like a dollar. Why? Because the government was a totally mismanaged government. Government gave everything free because oil is coming, pump, export oil. Oil, how long will you be dependent on oil? One day they will exhaust, then what will you do? You know what USA does? USA is also one of the richest oil resource country, but USA never uses its oil. It's kept all its oil inside. It doesn't. It buys oil from Saudi Arabia, this country, that country and all that. It doesn't pay them. It pays and it keeps all their dollars in its own banks. That is where economy. That is why it's the most powerful country in the world. We are learning a lot from the USA today. And how many of you will agree with me if I say by 2047 our country will become number 1 in the world? You are going to vote for Pakistan? What? Or you think that country will become second? How many of you think, apart from these 11, 12, how many of you think India will become further bad by 2047? Thank you, none of you is there. I assure you, I believe in all of you, it will become number 1. It will become number 1. The reason is, this country has got the demographic dividend. It's a very young country, it has a lot of resources, and we are not dependent on commodities. We are dependent on services. Almost 18% of the global CEOs are expatriate Indians. Sundar Pichai, Satya Nadella, so many of them, so many companies. Number 3, when a country is dependent on a single commodity, it can be exploited by its importers because they decide the price. They stop and you can't export. What will you do with oil? Can't you eat? You can't eat oil, right? Can you? And have you heard of this word called Banana Republic? Ever heard the word Banana Republic? कभी सुना कि नहीं? कभी थोड़ा से BBC रेडियो वगैरह सुनाया करो please. You will see the words Banana Republic. What do you mean by Banana Republic? There are some 10 countries between South America and North America, including Cuba, which produce a lot of bananas. Nicaragua, Honduras, वगैरह. These countries export only bananas. When I was there last year I was there in US for nearly 2 months. Extremely good quality bananas used to come from Mexico to USA. These are all single commodity export. That's why they are called banana republics. They are only republics in name. One commodity is attached with their republicanism. India is not like that. Today we are not taking the control and command of America, Russia or China. You can see the respect that our Prime Minister or External Affairs Minister or even representative of our country in the United Nations gets. Our voice is heard with respect. And how does this respect come? Have you heard of a concept called soft power and hard power? Hard power is military power. Soft power is power of diplomacy. And your power, your currency. You are able to, how you are managing your economy. In your own neighborhood, you must have been, all of you, there are some families who are respected by others also. There are some families who are not so much respected. What is the reason? The families who are respected are managing well. They don't go, Amma panchadara అయిపోయింది ఒక కప్పు పంచదార ఇస్తావా, అమ్మా కొంచెం కాఫీ పొడి అయిపోయింది ఒక కప్పు కాఫీ పొడి ఇస్తావా, సార్నే సినిమా పోవాలి సార్ ఒక 10 రూపాయలు అప్పిస్తారా, ఇలా అడగరు. ఉన్నది తింటారు, లేని రోజు గమ్మునుంటారు. అది ఆ లక్షణం. మనం ఎలా మన నైబర్హుడ్లో మనం చూస్తున్నామో దేశాల మధ్య కూడా అదే కైండ్ ఆఫ్ థింగ్ హ్యాపెన్స్. హౌ యు ఆర్ మేనేజింగ్. సో this slide I have shown you, who failed, who is responsible for the Nicaragua, for Venezuela to come to that level? Government and also people. Now I'm giving you must write down what I'm saying. You won't listen, but just don't listen. Of course, this video is available. You can say it. I'm using one more word. Vox populi, vox dei. What does it mean? Vox populi, vox dei. Vox, V-O-X, vox. Populi, P-O-P-U-L-I. V-O-X, vox, D-A, dei. What does it mean? Tell me, anybody? Any guess? Sarji? Any guess? I'll tell you what is meant by vox. Vox means voice. Populi means population. At least remaining 50% you fill it up. There is one more vox. The voice of the people is the voice of the God. It means that. People are so important in democracy. It may come in ethics. Do you agree with this? Yes, of course we agree with this. And then this, you have to start from Socrates, you have to start from Republicans, you have to start with how the Greeks have invented, you have to start with our own Janapads in our own Chanakya's time. And how people are important, our own Vedas and Upanishads mentioned, and Chanakya's Ardhashastra. And what does it mean? Here, one more thing. I'll tell you one more sentence. Write down this sentence. The sentence of Yatha Raja Tadha Praja is only half truth. The sentence that Yatha Praja Tadha Raja, the sentence that Yatha Raja Tadha Praja is only half truth. Yatha Praja Tadha Raja is only half truth. The real truth is Yatha first again repeating. The sentence that Yatha Raja Tadha Praja is only half truth. The full truth is, what does it mean? Yatha Raja Tadha Praja. As is the king, so are the people. That is a fun sentence. It's only half truth. The real truth is Yatha Praja Tadha Raja. As is the people, so is the king. When people of Venezuela are useless fellows, they elect such useless governments which ultimately make them a country totally useless. Population has become useless, territory has become useless, sovereignty has become useless, and also the government has become useless in solving their own problems, despite having the biggest resource. So is the case with Iran. Iraq. You know the president of Iraq was hanged? Saddam Hussein. Have you heard of Saddam Hussein? Yes. He was hanged by the US forces. So your oil richness, your richness is in the people's brain, not in mineral wealth. The real estate is the real in estate. Your knowledge, that's why we said knowledge economy, services economy, manufacturing economy, and basis is agricultural economy. Those countries which are dependent on single commodity or agriculture has to be always at the mercy of their consumer, at the mercy of the person who gives them orders. Got it? So you have to go with the times. So Yatha Raja Tadha Praja, Yatha Praja Tadha Raja. This is also a potential question. It may come. You have not heard of it. The real truth is this, that no country can exist with intelligent people and a non-intelligent king. And no country can exist with an intelligent king and non-intelligent people. It is both ways. So that's how it is. That's why I showed Venezuela. Next, boss. This is a report, ethics in real world. Note down this, and if you have time, you watch it. Just note down. Ron Howard and Clint Crover, Ethics for the Real World, talks at Google. It was a very old video, 15 years ago, but very relevant. I went through it, I made notes, and a part of it I will dictate to you later. And see, one more thing I wanted to tell you. When you are writing answers in the examination, you should not be repeating what your educational institutions like this academy or all those books or the lexicon book, this book, that book gave you, that everyone reads. Something extra you have to give. When your examiner reads it, the paper that he read earlier and the paper he is reading yours, you must understand that you are not from some coaching institute. You are an original person. You are not only vomiting. Because all the coaching institutes, they give you the same material and everyone vomits that. If you write something extra, I am here to do that for you. Coaching institutions I will cover, I will tell you, that's okay. But this extra thing I will give you. So that when you write something, he will reward you because you made that extra effort.
Landed in Seattle in 1917.
Watch this.
Speak a word of English. Had a tag around her neck. Spent 20 years saving money. She sold used clothing to do it. And by 1937, after 20 years, she saved $2,500. She went to Chicago. Dream had always been to open a furniture store. And this woman who had never gone to school one day in her life with $2,500.
Are able to see?
She built a business which she sold to me in 1983 for $60 million approximately, and which did $1.5 billion worth of business last year. One further fact about her: she could not read or write, but she brought a determination to succeed. Woman who landed in Seattle.
That was what he was talking about. You must have heard of this Warren Buffett. Anybody can tell me who was he? Correct. He's a great investor, and he runs an organization which is one of the richest, and he's also one of the richest, one of the most kindliest philanthropists in the world. He has a company, I'm just forgetting its name, extraordinary company. Berkshire Hathaway, correct, he's right. That company's CEO was a Jain from in India, Mr. Jain, who was his Ankit Jain or something. Main issue of Warren Buffett's appreciation, what was he talking about? Brother, you tell me, what was he talking about? He was talking about a woman, right? Which woman? Fine, that's okay. English she can't understand, read, write. But she came in 1917 to Seattle. And then what did she do? She started a small furniture company. And then she saved some money. And then she moved to Chicago. And then by the time she has $2,500. In 7-8 years she saved that much. In those days $1 is huge. And after that she made that company into big thing, and she was employing, and ultimately in 1970 or something, this man bought that company, Warren Buffett bought that company for some $1 million, some $70 million. What does it mean? What do you learn from both Warren Buffett and that lady? Do you learn anything from them? So, the moral of the story is, winners are never quitters. Write down. Winners are never quitters. Quitters are never winners. Winners are never quitters. Quitters. Quit means leaving, abdicators, quit. So, if you want to win anything, if you want to become an IAS officer or some Telangana civil servant, you should never quit it. Ultimate aim is not to become IAS. Ultimate aim is even beyond that. I am an example of that. Ultimate aim is become H cube, happy, healthy and harmonious, and D cube, Desham, Daivam, Deham, H cube and D cube. That is ultimate happiness. You may be PM, you may be DM, you may be CM, you may be any M, but be ham, happy M. That happiness, because that happiness only makes you less dependent on a pill or a peg. You don't need a peg or a pill to sleep. You are happy, you are healthy, you are harmonious. And when only you are healthy, happy and harmonious, you can give this to the rest of the society. मेरा पास पॉकेट में पैसा है तो तभी मैं दे पाऊंगा ना आपको. నా జేబుల్లో చిల్లులు ఉంటే నేను చిల్లులు తప్ప చిల్లి పెంకులు తప్ప ఏమి ఇవ్వగలను మీకు? నేను హ్యాపీగా ఉంటేనే కదా హ్యాపీనెస్ ఇచ్చేది, అవునా? ఇది కూడా అంతే. వారన్ బఫెట్, వాట్ డస్ హీ సే? He has, what do you learn from Warren Buffett here? You learn from him the knack of picking the jewels in right time. And don't be biased. Here is an illiterate woman who is a German, who doesn't know English, who comes from Seattle and then who comes from this. Why should I buy her company? I will buy a company from a fellow American who is also a white-skinned person. Why should I encourage a foreign woman? He doesn't have any bias. I saw 24 karat gold in you and I appreciate you. 24 karat gold doesn't require, write down, 24 karat gold doesn't require a PRO, public relations officer, advertisement agency. So you should have in other words, when I am discussing with you, you should have the inner thing that what all I am telling you will be making your own notes. I don't have to prompt you, write down. That's how it is. Warren Buffett tells you this. Warren Buffett also tells one more thing. Have the magnanimity to appreciate the merit wherever it is. Have the magnanimity to appreciate the merit wherever it is, whichever form it is. Merit does not have the limitations of caste, community, region, religion, time and space. Magnanimity means broad-mindedness, broad-heartedness. Broad-heartedness. He is magnanimous, larger than life. Chakravarti lanti personality. అంటే there is an aura of greatness. సినిమాలో చూపిస్తుంటారే కృష్ణుడి వెనక ఇట్లా తిరుగుతూ ఉంటుంది ఒకటి, అదనమాట మ్యాగ్నానిమిటీ అంటే. He has the magnanimity to appreciate merit in whichever form, you also should have that magnanimity. These are the lessons that we learn from this small clip. Okay? Okay. Sure. Anything else you want? You want to ask any question about this clipping? All of us should hold our head in shame for this. This is yesterday. This has increased it to some 80 now, by now.
Area of the consuming illicit liquor, the tragedy that has taken place, that has claimed 29 lives, and many others who have been hospitalized. This is the Kalakuchi district in Tamil Nadu, prompting the state government to shut down the district collector and place the superintendent of police under suspension for alleged lapses. Tamil Nadu's governor has also reacted, saying this is a matter of serious concern. We're getting many reactions coming in. And to get more on this, we have Sam Daniel joining us. Sam, after 22 people who died last year of illicit liquor, close to 30 people have died this year, with the opposition giving out their genuine concerns. What is the government doing about this? What is the kind of action that's being taken?
To begin with, heads have started rolling in Tamil Nadu. The collector has been transferred from Kalakuchi, a new collector has been appointed. The district SP has been suspended. The DSP in charge of prohibition enforcement, along with 3 inspectors and 3 sub-inspectors, have also been placed under suspension. And Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has said the government would clamp down on this with an iron hand.
Iron hand.
Action is already
My
been
foot.
taken against those who were responsible for the lapses, and also one person, an alleged or a suspected bootlegger, has also been arrested with a consignment of around 200 liters of illicit liquor. But certainly the ruling DMK is facing huge criticism that it has not learned any lessons after the tragedy last year, in which 22 people lost their lives after they consumed methanol. And the opposition leader, former Chief Minister Edapadi Palaniswamy, has said that the ruling DMK has failed to curb the menace of illicit liquor, despite he warning about this several times in the past. And the state BJP chief Annamalai has said the ruling DMK has not learned any lessons, and the governor R.N. Ravi has said this is a matter of serious concern, showing how the missionary has failed to stop the production and consumption of illicit liquor. As we speak, a total of 29 people, including 5 women, have lost their lives, and at least 68 of them who are suspected to have consumed illicit liquor are being treated in Kalakuchi at the Chipka Hospital in Puducherry, and also at the medical college hospitals in Salem and Thiruvannamalai district. The state government has also transferred the investigation of this case to the state crime branch investigation department.
We already discussed this. Now this is no more 29, it has become some 69 by now. Moot point is not the number of people who died. It could have been 1. It could have been none. None. It is not the question of deaths. Quantity doesn't decide anything. What is the moot question here is abdication of responsibility by the government when protectors become predators. Why the SP was suspended? First question is that. Can anybody answer? Don't ask me who is SP. You know what SP means? What? Superintendent of Police. Why he was suspended? You will support that? How many of you support? Please raise your hands. Okay, 2. How many of you don't support? Nobody is supporting. Okay. How many of you neutral? How many of you don't bother? I think. Whenever I ask such questions, please be open. This is way of case study. We are coming to the next point, next part. Again I am asking. How many of you support the suspension of the SP? Please raise your hands. Okay. How many of you don't support? Oppose. Okay. How many of you think government's decision, we will go by that? Please raise your hands. Okay. That means the rest of the people who don't have any view, what do I understand of them? What do you understand of them? Please tell me. I am not asking you to tell me which party you voted. I am not doing any survey. Now point is, we will not go into whether SP connived or whether SP was suspended. What do you mean by suspension? Is suspension a punishment? Why people are suspended? What is meant by suspension? English word suspension, what does it mean? In films we say suspense thriller. Is this suspense same suspense? What is suspension? How many of you think that suspension is punishment? Suspension means the government taking disciplinary action on the part of the officer, having come to prima facie the conclusion that he is responsible for such an action. The government presumes that he is responsible, and in order to facilitate a neutral inquiry, he removes that person from the position of power of influencing the investigation process. You are SP, I am conducting an inquiry against you in your own district. Will anybody give evidence against you? Because you are SP. If you give an evidence against you, tomorrow you will hang him. Same day you will hang him. I have to remove you so that you will not be able to influence. That is why suspension is not a punishment. It is only a presumption. It is only a facilitation for conducting of the inquiry to find out the real truth. It is normally held for 3 months. Can be extended for further 3 months. During the suspension period, the officer gets half his salary. Supposing he is exonerated, and after suspending, he has to be either given clean chit or he has to be punished after drawing departmental inquiries according to the rules given by the All India Service Rules 1963, according to the All India Service Rule Conduct Rules. And write down all this I am telling you. I am not telling some story, please write down. And if the officer, after facing the inquiry, comes out clean, he is exonerated of the charges, or he is being declared as a non-delinquent, and when once he is exempted, he will get all his full pay back to him and all his promotions. Which he is right. If he is suspended and if it is reflected, it is ultimately proven to that, he may be given a major punishment or a minor punishment or a capital punishment. Capital punishment is of 2 types. One is dismissal from the service, in which case he will not get any other government job in future, any government job. Other one is removal from the service. In that case, he is eligible to apply for any other government job. So dismissal and removal are 2 different things. Dismissal means confirmation that you are unfit to government servant. Removal is you are temporarily unfit, but anyway, however, you can apply somewhere. That is a capital punishment. Second is a major punishment and a minor punishment. Major punishment precisely means a punishment which will decrease your financial benefits, deprive you of your increments for years, 2 years, 3 years, with a cumulative effect. Minor punishments are censure or a warning which is entered into your service book. Minor punishments may not have any impact normally on your promotion, time scale of promotion, but major punishment will have. It has a currency of 2 or 3 years. During 2 or 3 years periods, your batchmates will become your bosses, you will not. So why I am telling you all this is, when you become civil servants as class 1 officers or IAS and IPS officers, All India Service Rules or class CCS, CCD rules are the same. It is the worst thing that can happen to any civil servant to be proceeded against and to be punished, and his own batchmates or his juniors. Till yesterday somebody is saluting you, today you have to salute him. उससे अच्छा है लेके एक पान दुकान यहाँ गांधीनगर में विष्णु IAS का सामने लगा के लोगों को पान बिक्री कर सकते हो आप. That's a good job, isn't it? This is about clear, simple words. You should know this. That's why I told you. So suspending the SP, prima facie, maybe this, he was responsible, accountable, but I will say DM was transferred, SP was suspended. Why this? The second question. Because the district administration is handled by both of them, and there is a separate division which is controlled by headquarters. This TSMAC is not under, TSMAC is under DM, and Prohibition is under separate payment. District SP is not responsible. Maybe this is to divert the attention of the people. Maybe that SP is suspended today. I am sure I am telling you today. Had he not been a favorite of some ruling party people, he would not have become SP. It was just a scapegoat kind of thing. Maybe after a few days, he will silently, his suspension will be withdrawn, and he will be made a SP of some other faraway district. This happens. And this is not administration. I wanted to study this case study only because to tell you this is not administration. And they say this TSPSC, why methanol? This methanol thing was allowed to be mixed with this thing. Why people are buying this spurious liquor or illicit liquor? What is the difference between illicit liquor and illicit liquor? Whenever I say illicit, there means also licit. What is illicit? What does the word mean illicit? Illicit means not licit. Licit means legal. Illicit means illegal. Simple. So what is meant by illicit liquor? Illicit liquor is that liquor which is made without government's approval, permission, or without government's, number 1 is approval, number 2 is permission, number 3 is what? No, not standards. Support. Support means what? When you are doing trade, supposing I have opened a bookshop in front of VISHNU IAS, I am selling books. I take a license. What does it mean by take a license? When I take a license, what does it mean? I am registering myself as a registrar bookseller with the government. Government is duty bound to protect me. I am duty bound to pay taxes. So in other words, when government support means government is not getting any taxes from these illicit liquors. That's why you call them bootleggers. Why do you call them bootleggers? I am giving you homework. Why such illicit liquor fellows are called bootleggers? Tomorrow I'll ask you. Tell me. Why they are called bootleggers? Why only bootleggers? Why not boot handlers? Why leg? What is the boot there? You must know this. You must be curious why they are called bootleggers. I know the answer, but you let me know. You'll Google it, you'll find out. Main question is, DM is transferred, SP is suspended. Is transfer a punishment? When you transfer an officer like this, nowhere in his service book, it will be written that he was transferred because of this illicit liquor tragedy. Number 4, is it a tragedy? What do you mean by tragedy? COVID is a tragedy. A sudden tufan, a sudden rain, a sudden collapse of this, supposing suddenly this building collapses, that's a tragedy. Or suddenly this camera explodes and it comes on me, falls on me, that's a tragedy. When I am walking on the road at 7 o'clock in the evening in front of a government prasad, that is Prabhutva Sara Dukanam, somebody comes and, hey, I want to drink, you donate to me 100 rupees now. Some ruling party goon, what will I do? I will donate 200 and leave it. Right? Because my life is precious to me. So that is not accident, that is not tragedy, that is not accident, that is, so you cannot call this as illicit liquor tragedy. It is a mafia activity run by the government. So transferring this man, trying to hoodwink and trying to, this is only public kind of thing, this is one way of looking at it. And the state government appointed one sitting or retired judge commission who wanted to give within 3 months the report. Have you ever heard any commission completing the inquiry within 3 months? Normally the commissions take 30 years. Judge Saab, he will sit down, he will call somebody, he will go on recording, some 10,000 witnesses, he will say, what was your grandfather? Was your grandfather eating rice or wheat? All these relevant things he will ask. He will write down and he will give 20,000 page report which nobody reads after 30 years. This is what's happening in the country. So commissions inquiry are no answer. Who is responsible for this 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 people's death? Number 1, the people are responsible. Nobody compelled them to take this illicit liquor. Number 2, those who are responsible are those persons who are bribing the government officials, taking the methanol, which is industrial alcohol, mixing with it, selling with it, and selling the people. It's not an activity which is done clandestinely. What is meant by clandestinely? Have you heard of the word clandestinely? Write down. If you don't know, write down. Clandestinely means lurkingly. Lurkingly means dongatananga, every kanapadakunda. Clandestinely, CLANDESTINELY, clandestinely. So nobody is selling this liquor clandestinely. People are selling the liquor openly. And who are the people who went and consumed that liquor? Poorest of the poor people, who cannot afford the government Sara, government Arak, which is being sold by TSPSC. And why the industrial alcohol is being added? Because they wanted to sell the same liquor which gives them the same punch with a lesser price. That's why it's called pink drink. And they were doing it for so many years. Suddenly, somehow because of the mixture, something extra was added, the people died. And if you are the judge to decide the whole fate of the thing, what are you going to do? Whom are you going to blame? The people first who went and maximum is the government, which failed in all fronts. How? The government was supposed to protect the people from ill health. It is part of the directive principle of the state policy. It is to prohibit people. Your bad habit of the people, drinking is a bad habit, drinking is not at all required. The person who drinks is Panchamahapatakam. You know what are the Panchamahapatakams of the, according to Hindu age, part of your syllabus only. What is Panchamahapatakas? I know. What are those? Tell me. What are the 5 major sins? Anybody, you are permitted to guess. What are the Panchamahapatakam? Mahapatak. Not ordinary patak. It's Mahapatak. Greedy is not that patak. Greedy is normal nature of the human beings. That is actually a bad quality. Shad ripus. Greedy is part of Kama, Krodha, Madha, Lova, Matsarya. Greedy is Kamam. Kama, Krodha, Madha, Matsarya, Lova. These 5, 6 sins are there. They are not Mahasins. They are sins. Hierarchy of sins. Tell me. What are? Exactly. Gambling is one. Yes. No, killing cows is not, but killing animals. Called Veta. Mrugaya. Mrugaya antar Sanskritanlo. Vetakelli. నీ ఆనందం కోసం పాపం జంతువులు ఫారెస్ట్లో వాటికి ఏదో వాడు చూసుకుంటే సింహం వేటాడవచ్చు ఆకలి కోసం. సింహం కూడా ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ కోసం వేటాడదు, లేదా ఫేస్బుక్ లైక్స్ కోసం వేటాడదు, అది లేదా ఆడసింహాన్ని ఇంప్రెస్ చేయడానికి వేటాడదు. దేఖో నేను ఎంత నాకెంత నేను ఎంతమందిని చంపుతానని. ఆకలిస్తే ఇంకా మగ సింహాలు యూజ్లెస్, మీకు అండం కావాలి. పాపం ఆడసింహాలే జంతువులు చెప్పించి మగ సింహాలకు పోషిస్తాయి. మగ సింహాలు అటు కూర్చొని బ్యా అంటుంటాయి, అది బస్. ఆడసింహాలే యాక్చువల్గా శివంగి అంటారు దానికి. సో మృగయ ఒకటి, జూదం ఇంకొకటి. మూడోది గురుద్రోహం. అంటే ఎలాంటి ద్రోహం? హ్యావింగ్ ఇల్లిసిట్ రిలేషన్షిప్ విత్ ద వైఫ్ ఆఫ్ ది గురు. Guru Patni is like mother. It's like having illicit relations with a mother. If a Shishya goes and tries to rape the wife of his Guru, that is one of the Panchamahapatakas. Got it? Mother, Guru is Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sakshat Parabrahma. More than even Brahma. Brahma you don't know, but Guru you know. He is in front of you. So Guru Patni is like Ma, mother, Parvati Devi. Guru is like Shiva. That's how it is. In another, like, for example, if you take Islam, say Guru is like, the Paigambar, right? It is like you are attacking the Paigambar's family. And in Islam, if somebody talks of Paigambar's family, they will cut the head. Rightly so. Because that's where it is. It's the messenger. Paigambar, Muhammad Sahib is the messenger of the God. Guru is also like Paigambar. Like Jesus Christ, for example. So, main point is, that is one of the, one more thing. I told you one, Surapanam. 3 we discussed. What is the 4th one? So, what are the 4 things that we discussed till now? Panchamahapatakas?
Gambling.
Rogaya?
Killing animals.
Having related to the Guru's wife? Surapanam. Liquor. One more is what? Chori of gold. Suvarna Chor. Suvarna Chauryam. These are the false Panchamahapatakas. We are part of our syllabus only, we will discuss that. So you should not do these Panchamahapatakas, and government allows this. Government allows people to consume liquor from its own agents in the name of getting revenue. Meerandaru aalochinchandi, you are like my children. I am asking you one small question. Please pay attention, please. Please. Are you listening to me? Are you, brother? I am requesting you with my folded hands. How far it is correct to allow poorest of the poor people to drink at the worst kind of joints and trying to justify that we are getting revenue out of it? For what? Revenue for what? You are using the revenue for their welfare and you are robbing them in the name of their helping them. As if I am cutting her right hand to help the left hand. As if I am taking out her right eye to help the left eye. Every government is meant for the poorest of the poor people. Free. Scholarship free. Every free. Bus journey free. I hope one day Supreme Court will give that whoever has announced this, he will be managing from his party funds, not from the government. I will be happy. These parties are rich enough. They can run their own buses also, free. TRS free, bus free, Congress bus free, BJP bus free. Whoever has got a bus, he wants to, you are a supporter of BJP. You enter BJP bus. run it, doesn't matter. But who are you to spend the government resources? मेरा पैसा है ना, मैं तो apply करता हूँ, I pay around 12 lakhs of rupees as tax every year. Yes, I pay, even now, after my retirement. When I was not retired, it was to pay 14 lakhs. And who are you to decide that you will give tomorrow a government will come, I will give one brandy bottle to every drinker free. మందు బాబులు అంతా వెళ్ళి దిగ్గేస్తారు టక్క 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 అని ఖటాఖట్ 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 టు కోట్ రాహుల్ గాంధీ. మందు బాబులు ఒక పాట ఉంది కదా, మందు బాబులం బాబు మందు బాబులం అని కోట శ్రీనివాసరావు పాడతాడు అన్నమాట. Who is responsible? So these are the ethical dilemmas for the government to decide. That's why you must think that in this case the government was responsible ab initio. Write down what is meant by ab initio. Ab initio, ABINITIO. Ab initio means right from the beginning. Now in this instant case, when I discuss this, I am saying that the authorities are ab initio responsible for failures of governance at 4 stages. Number 1, that at the beginning running alcohol shops in any name because and driving the people to be alcoholic addiction, because alcohol is addictive. That's why it's called Panchamahapatakas. When once you are addicted to it, you'll continue to do it without reason. And those who drink alcohol, they lose all senses. They become worse than animals. They become a menace to the society. They don't know. That is why if you consume alcohol, if you are forced to consume alcohol, supposing I force him to drink alcohol and he goes and he kills him, he is exonerated from murder. You know that? He has to prove that he was forced to drink. Supposing in order to kill him, he drinks and goes and kills him and says, sir, I was under intoxication, I killed. That is not allowed. He has to prove that I forced him to drink. And then I instigated and I gave him a gun and go and kill him. Because I wanted to kill him, I used this man who was a drunkard. I gave him a bottle. That's what netas do. You know why netas do all this? Is because they want people to have addiction to drugs or to alcohol so that they can take brandy bottles and go and vote for them. This is an electoral offense also. Number 1. There are some states which has prohibited. Prohibition of not only illicit liquor but licit liquor also. Bihar and Gujarat are examples. Gujarat has been there for the past 30 years. If Gujarat can do this and develop and become one of the richest GDP producing states, why not the rest of the country? Why are we discriminating Gujaratis with the Tamilians? Are the people asking you to run these arak shops? Are you so poor that you have to run on the welfare, on the revenues from which you get from the alcohol sales? That's the second failure. Third failure is when you are running the shop, you must ensure that people go only to the shop and you must have a measurement. Who are coming, how much they are consuming, what is their impact on that. On the cigarette packets you are writing, consumption of a cigarette is cancerous. Why are you not dictating this in every alcohol shop? And the people who consume alcohol are actually not criminals. Fourth point, they are already disgusted with their life. They want to forget their problems. Have you heard of a bird called ostrich?
Yes, sir.
What does it do? It does put its head in sand when the sand dune comes, thinking that the sand dune will go away. In Telugu there is a famous saying that when a cat drinks the milk, the cat closes its eyes like this, as if thinking that nobody else is seeing. In fact, everyone sees except the cat himself or itself. So this is like a ostrich and a cat approach. This is not done. This is the fourth point I am talking. The last point of this abdication of responsibility is when you have used the resources of the taxpayers' money in creating a separate department of constituting the policemen for that, you are not making them accountable, you are not charging them, you are not training them, you are allowing them to be corrupt, and they must have been collecting money, saptas and haftas in every week, and that is why you have suspended them. You are also proving to the whole world that because your policemen were taking money and hence you are punishing them by suspending them or by transferring them or by arresting them. At the cost of these 49, 50, 60, 70 non-innocent people, I am not at all calling them innocent at all. They are responsible for their life. In fact, they have committed suicide. I have no sympathies for them, and giving them 10 lakhs of rupees is at another. Do you support this? I am asking you. Now that you heard 5 reasons, whose money is this to give them 10 lakhs of rupees or their family members? Do they deserve? Do they deserve? Tell me. If you don't give this, then you are not fit to be a civil servant. You have to tell this. At least in the classroom, you tell me. Do they deserve? They don't. Because they themselves went. Supposing in NEET examination, you wrote honestly, because of this leakage of the paper, you did not get seat. You were depressed. You went to coma. Ultimately, you died. You are the only this thing your family has read it. Then the government giving to your father and mother who are blind 10 lakhs of rupees, I agree. Correct? Because it's the government failure. She went in depression. She did not commit suicide. She did a natural death. She died a natural death. Her family members were dependent on her. She becomes a doctor and help. In fact, I recently saw one movie on this. One Tamil movie. It is there in I think extraordinary movie. I loved that movie. It's there in I think Amazon Prime or something. I'll share with you tomorrow. Extraordinary movie. A girl wants to become a doctor. She couldn't. She commits suicide, and one doctor comes there. She was there, and an old man dies. And his own cousin, his own brother is there, twin brother. He was there. It is an extraordinary movie. Tamil movie, beautiful movie. I am sharing with this because this compensation is again another hoodwink. You give. The other day, yesterday, there was one more incident wherein one train was standing in Kanchenjunga Express in Darjeeling district. One goods train came and gave a collision, and the driver died and 9 passengers died. Giving them compensation is valid. You can say that they must have been known that when you are running on the train, accidents can happen. As they say, mutual funds are market risk. Subjected to market risk. So train journey is also subjected to market. You may lose your life. There may be one goods train which may come and dash. You may die. In every ticket there may be an flank print. Don't travel with us. You may die. We don't pay you anything. Air ticket. So they may say this, but yet people go with the faith. I understand. Why this 10 lakh compensation for them? Because you want to run this addiction. That's very clear. Now don't ask the NGOs to do the work. When the GO itself cannot do, how can an NGO do the work? That is another flaw. Where are the NGOs? Where are the people? Why the what is the job of an intellectual? మేధావి వర్గం ఏం చేస్తున్నది? కళ్ళు మూసుకొని నిద్రపోతున్నదా? జర్నలిస్టుల కళాలన్నీ నిద్రపోతున్నాయా? ఈ ప్రశ్నలకి ఎవరు సమాధానం? అర్థలేని ప్రశ్న ఇవన్నీ. We elected you to protect us. You are accountable, Mr. Chief Minister. Of course you are accountable. We pay the taxes. You are not our ruler. You are our servant. You say this. Now you got all 6 points clear? Clear to you? So this is how you have to analyze. In 45 minutes time left. I'll leave you for 5 minutes. Do you require any break? No break is required? Okay, then I'll continue. And next one. And this is how you have to do the case studies. So unless you read very well, you understand your subjects, you understand philosophy, you understand logic, you understand the law, you read some good novels in English, Shakespeare novels, some good Charles Dickens, right, and Rousseau and Voltaire, and also some Indian, Vishwanatha Satyanarayana, Telugu, some Hindi novels, Chanakya, Bana, and Kalidas, Raghuvamsham, Harivamsham. When you read all this, you can quote and Viduraniti, Mahabharata and Ramayana you should read. When you read Mahabharata and Ramayana, in fact, I have one small clipping, 1 minute, when I close the show, I'll give you that. In Telugu one, it's a small padyam, which was sung by a girl of 10, 15 years old, extraordinary. Viduraniti padyam. Alasyam boka inta ledu. Like that it's good. You should not delay any activity. Satyam balkam bade. You have to always tell the truth. Atidhul, and you archaniyul atidhul. When somebody comes to your house, you worship them. If you do all this, then roga mrityu bhaya sankam bandam ennandu. In the sense, we will not face the fear of the death or fear of injury or fear of ill health at any point of time. Beautiful. 1 minute, 50 seconds. I'll just play it to you. You will listen to that. So these are the things which you need to quote. You don't have to quote the shloka, you quote the meaning of that and refer. This was Viduraniti. Understand. It's such a vast literature you have. Mahakavi Kalidas. Our own in Telangana, we have got extraordinary people and extraordinary writers who have written. Even Mahakavi Sri Sri, Gurajada Apparao, and Kaloji Narayan Rao, right? Extraordinary people are there. So you read. If you have not forgotten, how many of you can read Telugu? Please raise your hands. Thank you very much. It's so nice. So when you read Telugu literature also, take one newspaper, whichever newspaper you like. Read the editorial. Then you will get good words. Because that will be helpful to you to connect your own this thing. Because it will be helpful for you with an interview. Nobody should prepare for the interview after clearing the mains. Preliminary, mains and interview preparation must go simultaneously. You should have 4 or 5 notes with 4 or 5 ink. One for preliminary, one for mains, one for interview. And all these things should be a part of your personal property. You should not share with anybody. Not your cell phone. These are the things. I prepared like that. Even today I do this. Only thing is sometimes I use Apple Pen, which my daughter presented to me when I was in Seattle. I do that. That I write and I'm saving papers. That's how you as a Prime Minister was telling me, you learn. At this age I'm trying to learn this new techniques of taking a screenshot, putting video there, editing, this and that. All these points I'm trying to learn. Compensation is whose job, madam? Why do you pay compensation? So everybody, supposing in that case, many farmers are committing suicide. 65,000 farmers commit suicide. Why have you not paid compensation? Madam, ask me this. At least a farmer is not addicted, madam. He is not addicted. He is worried that some bank is sending him a notice. He is not Vijay Mallya, madam. 10,000 crores मार के भागा वहां जाके डांस कर रहा है, नृत्य कर रहा है वो लंदन में. उसको तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते आप. एक ऑर्डिनरी फार्मर में लोन लिया है एंड बैंक में नोटिस भेज दिया उसको. ही कांट शो हिज फेस टू अदर्स बिकॉज ऑर्डिनरी फार्मर है. कृष्णा है हमारे लिए, अन्नदाता है, मेरा बाप है मेरे. वो खुदकुशी करता है, हम उसका फैमिली को 1 पैसा भी नहीं देते. Why you pay compensation? Are you accepting that you are responsible for this? Supposing under your TSMAC government alcohol consumption, if people died, you give a compensation. I agree. Because you are a seller, somebody consumed your product, you are supposed to pay. He died, you pay. That is part of tort law. What is this? That's the question. I think somebody will ask this question in Tamil Nadu. Unless people ask these questions, I can't save my people, madam. And today you are asking me that tomorrow, supposing some people consume drugs, ganja, heroin, then wo bhi hai. People die of extra consumption of heroin. The people die on the road. Then also I'll pay. Madam, today you are paying pension to widows. You are paying so many schemes are there. Manrega and all these things are there. This actually is a hoodwinking process. In fact, I must tell you this, today unofficially I am telling, these are all announced and nothing is get paid. And in the name of them, अंगूठा चाप लगा के, उसका 1 पैसा ऐसा फेंक के, कुत्तों की एक बैग फेंकते हैं और बाकी पैसा करप्शन के लेते हैं. मुर्दों से भी ये लोग पैसा लेते हैं. मृतदेह लोगों से भी पैसा लेते हैं. डेड बॉडी से लोग भी ये लोग व्यवसाय करते हैं. इस पाखंडी लोगों को क्या बताएं? कौन है पूछने वाले कि हमारा लोग जाके एक इलिसिट अल्कोहल खाया और मर गया, एक डेड बॉडी है, मुझे 10 लाख रुपए दो. इसका हिम्मत इस देश में किसी का पास है कि चीफ मिनिस्टर को जाके बता दे? एक कांस्टेबल के पास जा नहीं सकते, आप चीफ मिनिस्टर के पास जाएंगे? बोलिए. उनका साथ भी, उनका नाम करके भी, वहां कर भी 500 करोड़ को मारने की षड्यंत्र देखता हूं मैं इसमें. आई वुड बी वेरी हैप्पी इफ आई एम disproved. As an advocate, I am saying this. I have reasons to believe that there is corruption. I smell a scam in this. And my emotion is not manufactured, it is purposeful. I want to wake you up. I want you to wake you up. Because this country is yours. इस देश की प्रोटेक्शन किसी ठेकेदार को मत देना. खुद ठेकेदार बनो. कोई बाहर का लोग आके तुम्हें नहीं कहा चंद्रशेखर आजाद की दे चाहिए. आपको करना है, देश को बचाना है. देश आप ही है. Nobody else is going to come and protect you. There's a great song, ఘంటసాల వెంకటేశ్వరరావు గారు, భూమి కోసం. ఎవరో వస్తారని ఏదో చేస్తారని ఎదురు చూసి మోసపోకుమా, నిజము పరచి నిదురపోకుమా, నిజము మరచి నిదురపోకుమా. Don't forget the truth and in this eternal bliss don't enjoy the death, because an irresponsible sleep is nothing but Hirakiri committing suicide. She provoked me to be so emotionally, outbursting. I'm sorry for this if I hurt anybody's sentiments. Did I? No, sir. I'm proud of this. At least there is one voice, the disciple of Chandrasekhar Azad, who doesn't fear to tell the truth on camera. Let it reach the person's home. They know me very well, of course. They do know me. So that's what it is. So any other questions on this front? Shall we go to the next one? All those kings who did not follow ate dust and become dusty. It's Ram who did not do. I'm thankful to you for this great question. Maryada Purushottam ka param bhakt hu. I was born in Punarvasu Nakshatra. My mother named me as Ramesh because I shared my Nakshatra with Lord Ram. You know why Ram is called Ram? Ram is called, boss, isko record karo. There's one more slip which must go to the internet. She asked a nice question as to why if they are Panchamahapatakas, what happened to the kings who did not follow? It's a very valid question. Those who did not follow, I'll say, they become dust, they become part of dirty history. But those who followed, they become the beacons of justice, eternality. And the nation celebrates them, their birthday as a festival. Ramanavami, Krishnastami, Mahashivaratri, like that. And why Lord Ram, he did not follow any one of them. Any one of the Panchamahapatkas he did not do. And that's why I said, Ram Ram the Kishkinda mein, Ram Ram the Ayodhya mein, Ram Ram the even Ram the Dandakaranya mein, Ram the Mithila mein. लेकिन राम थे स्वर्ण लंका में भी, इसलिए उनको राजा राम नहीं मर्यादा पुरुषोत्तम कहते हैं. When you have all the power to be unaccountable, when you have the power to declare yourself the king of the greatest and the most wealthiest of the kingdoms on that face of the earth at that point of time, with a golden vimana, with a golden this, you've already promised the brother of the king, VISHNU, that I will make you the king tomorrow. You made it, not a single second you stay, you come back. It may be a story, but I appreciate the writer's spirit in guiding the morality of this nation, of naming the children of this nation who are born the same nakshatra as the Lord, as my mother did it. When my mother named me after my Lord, I am addicted to that belief system. I am addicted. The system that I should not bring defame to my mother having named me. And I will follow the diktat of Ram. And I walk like Ram, talk like Ram. Maryada Purushottam. All the writings, whichever religion you take, whichever religion, Buddha religion, Islam, Christianity, any religion you take, hundreds of stories are there, moral stories to guide us. Ramayana happened and not happened, when Ram was there or Brahmastra was there, Ravana was there, immaterial. That comes later. They may be there, they may not be there. But you asked me, have you seen Ram? Yes, I did see Ram. I do see Ram today and every day. And I take all your permission to again share with you. Do you have your permission to share? When I do my marathons, 41 kilometers a run, the last kilometer, that is the most dangerous kilometer. When I'm walking there, when I'm reaching there, I see the God. Every day you can see, all of you, if you follow my Instagram, you can see. I have already said this. When I go to the gym every day morning and around 35 minutes, I run at 10-11 kilometers per hour speed, and the whole body becomes drenched, total top to bottom. And with the sweat, I do the abhishek of the शिवलिंग which is my head with the sweat. उन्हीं का दिया पानी से बाहर से लोटा लेके उन्हीं को देना कौन सा अभिषेक हुआ. मैं अपना देह से परिश्रम करके तप से उस श्वेत को निकाल के अपना शिव को मैं अभिषेक करके परमानंद फील करता हूं. महाशिव की भक्त हूं मैं, चंद्रशेखर की भक्त. मेरा माता जी को एक और बार नमन करता हूं. मुझे रमेश नाम दिया, जहां ईश्वर भी है, राम भी है. What else you require? Fitness. My fitness is my gift to my nation. Who taught me this? My nation, my संस्कृति, my विरासत, मेरे देश की नागरिकता. और कोई भी आके उस नागरिकता की गर्व को खंड नहीं कर सकता. चंद्रशेखर आजाद की सौगंध. This is what it is. So, I have never done Panchamahabhatakas. I never touched alcohol in my life. I used to smoke. There was some terrorist attack on me. I was intensive care unit. The last cigarette I smoked saved my life. So, cigarette का साथ बंधन छोड़ दिया. वो भी 1998 में. And 2 of my security guards died in that attack. That's what I said. Unless you walk the talk, you will not get this courage to speak to all of you like this. And I came deliberately to speak to all of you to prove that there are thousands of people like me in this country. I said ABC for ABC through ABC. Ashfaq Ullah Khan, Bhagat Singh and Chandrasekhar Azad for making the country through institutions like Indian Institute of Management of Ahmedabad, Bengaluru and Calcutta to make America, Bharat, China, Bharat to be on part or more than America and China. Yes, we have many people. Every generation has people. You also, all of you are like that. You can become. Every one of you can become. Got it now? Okay. Any other questions before we move? Okay, please. Boss, next one please. This country which is celebrating 75 years of its independence deserve that? Sound thoda kam karo. Very worst music. Whoever made this video, I condemn that fellow. Do you have that kind of music for the tragedy? See them. And netas, just show this. This neta people, they come for tragedy tourism. There are 2 types of tourism. Terror tourism, which our Ramu does, Ram Gopal Verma. Whenever there is Mumbai blast, he will go with that Deshmukh fellow, who was Chief Minister's son. What is that Deshmukh? Ritvik Deshmukh or Ritesh Deshmukh, somebody. Right? उनका साथ जाता है वहाँ पर एक कारण है. That is called terror tourism. The other type of tourism called tragedy tourism. वहाँ जाके 10 लाख दे दो. माता जी, आपको ये हुआ, मैं बहुत शर्मिंदा हूँ, यही होना नहीं चाहिए था माता जी. क्या करें, होता है, भगवान की इच्छा है. हम कौन है, मनुष्य है हम लोग, हमारा हाथ में क्या है, करप्शन छोड़ के. इन लोगों को कोई शर्म भी नहीं है इस तरह बात करने के लिए. अब सिनेमा एक्टर भी जाते हैं. विजय नामक कोई है, कोई तलाइवर, विजय तलाइवर. कौन उसको तलाइवर में नहीं, व्हाट यू मीन बाय तलाइवर? तमिलनाडु. व्हाट इज तलाइवर? तलाइवर, headman. Talaivar, Padukappu means Padakappu, that means police. Talaivar means leader. Kachi means party. So, these fellows will go. They search. कहाँ वोट मिलेगा, कहाँ नोट मिलेगा. वोट ही नोट है. Don't write this, please. In Bihar, there was a train which people pushed it. You have the other example also. When, a girl, 14 years old in Bihar, she drove on a bicycle having her father, 45 years old father, sitting on the back of a bicycle. 1400 kilometers she cycled safely during COVID time from Delhi to Bihar. That kind of great Lakshmi boys are born in this country time and again. Time and again. I salute that girl. Government of Bihar has given her an award. I think my friend is there, Anand, who is the Super 30 IIT. He also gave a reward for her. So we celebrate that. I have shown you the wrong examples. Now I am showing you the right example. When they did not depend on the railway authorities. Fine. And this kind of unique incident in the world has happened. And people coming and pushing the train as if they are pushing a lorry. And it happened. Somebody, just next please. ఏం చెప్పారు, బీహార్లో ప్రయాణికులు రైలు దోసుకుంటూ వెళ్ళిన వీడియో వైరల్ అవుతుంది. 2 రోజుల క్రితం పట్నా జార్ఖండ్ ప్యాసింజర్లో అగ్నిప్రమాదం సంభవించింది. స్పందించిన అధికారులు మంట వ్యాపించిన బోగీలు మిగతా బోగితో విడదీశారు. ఆ వెంటనే అప్రమత్తమైన ప్రయాణికులు మిగతా బోగీలు ముందుకు తోసి మంటలు అంటుకోకుండా చేశారు. క్లియర్ జంక్షన్లో ఈ గంటను జరగ్గా, కియల్ జంక్షన్లో ఈ గంట జరగా వీడియో నెటిజన్లు ఫన్నీ కామెంట్తో షేర్ చేస్తున్నారు. వాట్ డస్ ఇట్ మీన్? ఇట్ ఇస్ ద పీపుల్ who saved other bogies from being burnt. They protected the government property. There is an act called, write down, Prevention of Damage to Public Property Act. And the people there have followed that law. They prevented the damage to public property. Railways are public property, your property and my property. And we must salute all these people. They are ordinary Biharis. Ordinary Biharis who are, most of them work as your flats security guards. Great men. Everywhere there are so many, that's why this country survived. Yes, please, next one. One more version of the worst thing. Is it a case study for you, ethics, or not? An extraordinary case study, right? Shall we discuss for 2 minutes? Yes, sir. Okay. What are the issues here? YCP, forget. It can be BRS, it can be BJP, anybody. I am neither a fan nor a non-fan. Fan means don't think that they're Janasena ka baat nahi hai wo, right? So, in fact, that part of Andhra Pradesh, in that spot, fan, whose electoral symbol is fan? YCP, yes. So, I am not a fan of that fan. That's what I am saying, okay. So, I am very, and I will not say this, but anyway, I support the people of Andhra and people of Telangana, my people, my Telugu people, who always stood, irrespective of the caste community, nothing. When it comes to the protection of the interest of the populi, they voted as one person. I am happy for that. Now, in this instant case, Mr. Reddy betted 30 crores. Where did he get 30 crores? First of all right, he had got 30 crores. He can have 30 crores, doesn't matter. What happened next? Can he do this in this democratic country? Unfortunately, in some cities, some states, some towns of Andhra, or maybe in Telangana also, some Poramboku fellows, ఎదవలు రోడ్ల మీద కూర్చొని ఏం చేస్తారంటే, అక్కడ కూర్చొని కలవట్ల మీద వచ్చి అక్కడెక్కడో అంబాసిడర్ కారు ఒకటి వస్తుంటుంది. దాని నెంబర్ అంత బచ్చా అంటాడు ఒకడు. బచ్చా దాని నెంబరు ఏపీజే 4531 మచ్చా అంటాడు వీడు. ఓపీజే 4131 కాకుండా 4535 అయితే నీకు 10,000 ఇస్తాను మచ్చా అంటాడు వీడు. దాంట్లో కొట్టుకొని వస్తారు. స్టూపిడ్ ఫెలోస్, ఇంతకంటే స్టూపిడిటీ ఉంటుందా ఎక్కడన్నా? అందుకనే జూదాన్ని పంచమహాపాతకం అంటారు. మన వాళ్ళలో జూదాలకి జూదం చేయడానికి కొన ఎదక్కర్లా, పాచికలే అవసరం లేదు బాబు. టెలిఫోన్ నంబర్లు, సెల్ ఫోన్ నంబర్లు, ఆ తర్వాత గాడి వచ్చే స్కూటర్ నంబర్లు కూడా మన వాళ్ళు జూదం ఆడడానికి అవి కూడా ఉపయోగపడతాయి. కాదేది కవిత కనర్మని మహాకవి శ్రీశ్రీ అన్నాడు. కాదేది జూదాన్ని కనర్మని ఈ పోరంబోకు ఎదవలు అంటారు. అది అర్థమైందా? అలాంటి మహానుభావులు కూడా ఉన్నారు ఆయన మన దేశంలో. రైలును దోసేవాళ్ళే కాదు, ఇలాంటి వాళ్ళు కూడా ఉన్నారు. ఇదిగో ఈయన ఒకడు దాంట్లో ఎగ్జాంపుల్. ఏం చేశాడు ఈయన? 30 crores కట్టాడు. వాట్ హ్యాపెన్ లేటర్? హీ కుడ్ నాట్ పే, హీ లాస్ట్, రైట్? అండ్ దెన్ వాట్ హ్యాపెన్? పీపుల్ కేమ్ అండ్ టుక్ అవే ఆల్ హిస్ ప్రాపర్టీ, విచ్ ఎవర్. ఎవడి దొరికింది వాడిది. కంచం దొరికితే కంచం, మంచం దొరికితే మంచం, చెంబు దొరికితే చెంబు, తపాళా దొరికితే తపాళా. మీకు తెలియదేమో తపాళా అంటే, ఆ సైడ్ ఆంధ్ర సైడ్లో తపాళా అంటే యూటెన్సిల్ అనమాట, ఆ బౌల్. ఎస్, షీఈ్ రైట్, ట్రాన్స్లేషన్, ఎక్సలెంట్ ట్రాన్స్లేషన్. సమ్ బౌల్, ఏది దొరికితే అది తీసుకెళ్ళిపోయారు. వెళ్ళిపోయిన తర్వాత పాపం మనస్తాపం చేసి పురుగుల మందు దాకా చనిపోయాడు. ఇట్స్ అ వెరీ ట్రాజిక్ ఇన్సిడెంట్. యూ షుడ్ నాట్. బట్ వేర్ ఇస్ ద గవర్నమెంట్స్ రూల్ హియర్? వేర్ ఇస్ ది రూల్ ఆఫ్ ఎలక్షన్ కమిషన్? Somebody published this. I know, we are discussing it here in ethics class. You think election commission doesn't have the responsibility for this? Will the election commission hold responsible for the returning officer of that constituency? Why have it happened in your constituency? Who are you to bet on election process which is a legal process? How can you have an illegal thing connected to a legal thing? And this man lost his life because he was thinking that if YCP wins, I'll get 30 crores. What was his plan? If YCP wins, then those who betted that YCP won't win will be compelled to pay because YCP is the ruling party. And it is known for strong arm tactics. They will expect. But because this man could not do it, and because the other Kutami has come with 151 seats, 160 seats, these people got only 11. Chamada uthayega. Before dusra le chamada uthaya, main khud uthata hu. This is the tragedy incident. But unfortunately, I worry for my sister who is his wife who lost her husband. It's a very tragic incident. That's why I wanted to show it to you. When you go to the districts, when you become returning officers, you should not forget these kind of incidents also can happen. It is your responsibility. If I am the chief minister, if I am the home minister of the country, and if that happens, I am not going to spare. This is the failure of the government. You allow citizens to become illegal, anti-legal, anti-law, anti-government, and indulge in corrupt practices. You abdicate your governance. These many issues are there in this case. Next, please. This is another incident for all of you to understand. There is an IPAC which is started by whom? PK. There is one more PK, apart from Pawan Kalyan. There is Prashant Kishore, his team. They were doing there a lot of useless thing they did in Bengal also. This man did, and this Ara Mastan, who is also another specialist. Why I am showing this to you is because when you allow commercial interest to become mixed with legal interest, legitimate functioning, these kind of things will start. You should not allow extra constitutional authorities to indulge or poke nose or put the finger in the legal process or electoral process. ఈ దేశంలో అత్యంత పవిత్రమైనటువంటి యాక్టివిటీ ఏదైనా ఉందంటే అది ఎలక్షన్స్. ఆ ఎలక్షన్ ప్రాసెస్లో ఇలాంటి వాడిని తీసుకొస్తే ఇలాంటివి అవుతాయి. రేపొద్దున ఐపాక్ టీం మీద వీళ్ళు దాడి చేస్తారు. వాళ్ళలో ఇద్దరి మీద ఏదో చంపుతారు ఏదో చేస్తారు, సంథింగ్ లేదా వాళ్ళు వెళ్ళి కేసులు వేస్తారు. ఇవి జరుగుతూ ఉంటాయి. ఇవి యాజ్ ఇఫ్ ఐపాక్ ఈజ్ రెస్పాన్సిబుల్. అంటే ఏంటి? యూ డోంట్ హ్యావ్ టు గవర్న్, యూ మ్యానిపులేట్. వాట్ ఈజ్ ఐపాక్ డూయింగ్? Manipulation, public interest. Why should these kind of things happen in a democracy? These are the main issues that we need to ponder over. Next, please. Extraordinary. This you enjoy. Enjoy this. Have you understood the meaning of that? జనాలకి ఫ్రీగా ఇస్తే అల్టిమేట్గా ఎట్లా తయారవుతారు చూపించాడు. మీ చిన్నప్పుడు చదివి ఉండరు. మా చిన్నప్పుడు చందమామ అని ఒక మ్యాగజైన్ వచ్చేది. దాంట్లో బేతాళ కథలు వచ్చేవి. పట్టు వదలని విక్రమార్కుడు రాత్రి ఆ రకంగా వెళుతుంటే బేతాళుడు వచ్చి ఆయన మీద ఎక్కాడని. చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు స్టైల్లో ఆ మాదిరిగా బేతాళుడు ముందుకి, ఆ మాదిరిగా విక్రమార్కుడు ముందు వెళుతుంటే బేతాళుడు వచ్చి ఆయనకు ఎక్కాడనమాట. చంద్రబాబు గారి స్టైల్లో పోవాలంటే అలాగా ఇది కూడా అదే. When you give, so we are discussing, when you give freebies, when you make people addicted to that, the people become unskilled, unemployable, not unemployment, they become unemployable. Write down. Unemployability is worse than unemployment. Do you agree? Write down, yeah, you have to write 15 lines essay on that. Unemployability is worse than unemployment. Do you agree? Yes. No. You will get 0 marks. Instead of writing 15 lines, if you write yes or no, that is not a multiple choice question. It's an essay question. Okay? You have to justify. Unemployability means the dog. What is the employability of a dog? Dog has to show the way to the owner. Here the dog is it has become a boj on the owner. Dog, instead of protecting you, becomes a protectee. A protectee. It is supposed to protect you. Now you are protecting it. It refuses. It doesn't come. Jai bhaad mein, I will be here only. You have to come, take me again, and then walk. What an intelligent dog. What a well-trained dog. Whoever has shot this member, I must salute that fellow. The lesson that we need to learn from this is that when you do illegal things, the impact of illegal things is always illegal and worse than when it was beginning. It is cumulative. It is integral. If that's why ends and means are connected. If you choose a wrong end, if you choose a wrong means, the end will be worst end. Example, when you don't put the repair of a small leakage in a big dam, the leakage becomes big and one day the dam collapses. When the dam collapses, it becomes maybe Kaleshwaram. It's possible. Abdication of responsibility is felt in everywhere, 360 degree. This is where we can see that example. I have made some notes for you. I'll dictate, write down the notes. And then I'll show you some video and then we will call it. Now case study is from the management profession. Case study is from the management profession. It is a chronological detail. It is a chronological detail. DETIAL. It is a chronological. CHRONOLOGICAL. Chronological, right? Detail of an event, comma, a process, comma, issue, comma, problem or activity. It can be real, hypothetical, hypothetical spelling, HYPOTHETICAL, hypothetical, or a combination of both, partly real and partly hypothetical. What do you mean by hypothetical? Hypothetical means assumed, assumptions. It's not real. It can be a real case, it can be a kind of banavati case, hypothetical case. Okay. Or it can be a mixture of both. Now, real life complexities demand application of experiential knowledge and crystallized wisdom, CRYSTALLISED, crystallized, CRYSTALLISED, crystallized wisdom in helping taking decisions. CSM, that is case study method, capital C, full stop, capital S, full stop, capital M, full stop. CSM in bracket case study method involves 4 stages. Next line, numeral 1, full stop. AS, A capital, S capital. Number 2, AK. Number 3, R. Number 4, C. I will explain what is that. AS means analyzing situation. So remember a formula, AS, AK, RC. AS, AK, RC. Right? AS is analyzing situation. AK is applying knowledge. R is reasoning. C is conclusions. Now full stop. I will explain to you what is meant by case study method. Case study method means actually analyzing a situation, as we have done this today. I have told you so many cases, at least 10 we discussed. What did we do? We analyzed the situation. We applied our knowledge, our law. What is AK? Our knowledge. What is knowledge? Legal knowledge. Historical knowledge. What happened then? What happened this? Who was Lord Acton? What was he? All that. Right? What was or reasoning? When law is silent, we reasoned, you should have done this. We said compensation should not be paid, but this compensation, we reasoned with logic. 4th is we concluded, this should have been done, this should not have been done. We diagnosed. We are a good doctor. Every civil servant is a great doctor because he is a great compounder and is a great lab technician. Unless you diagnose the problem correctly, you can't give the medicine correctly. A fever is a fever, and a fever can be a typhoid or a malaria. Because it is fever, if you administer typhoid medicine to malaria patient, you are expediting the death. What is meant by expediting? What is the word expedition means? What is expedition? Not speedening. What is expedition? Expedition means you are facilitating this. We are facilitating the eventuality with further intensity. That is what expedite, not speeding up. Expedition need not be always traveling. It can be even mixing of chemicals. So further intensity, you are finalization ka further intensity ka expedite karna hai. That's what. And ultimately what we do? After reasoning, we did conclusions. What conclusions we did? We made conclusions wherein this is correct, this is wrong. Those of you who are silent, I am warning you, you can't be silent in ethics cases. Goda meeda pilli vatam ethics case lo unte nayana meeku bandi sunna vastundi. Maamulu sunna kaadu. Bandi sunna antamu telugulo. Bandi sunna ante chaala pedda sunna. మామూలు సున్నా కాదు, అతిపెద్ద సున్నా. అది మనం ఎథిక్స్ కేసులో ఒక స్టాండ్ తీసుకోవాలి. మీరు ఇంకోటి కూడా చెప్తున్నా మీకు, సిన్సియర్లీ ఐఎమ్ టెలింగ్ యూ, ఇఫ్ యూ ఫాలో దిస్ క్లాస్ వీ డిస్కస్ I am training you for your interview also. So that in interview, because I have trained many people and most of my students this time also got ranks. The other day topper came and met me, Mr. Srivastav from NPA. There are so many whom I trained and they got very good ranks in interview. Interview is basically a psychological game. So you have to prepare. So this ethic cases, so many cases will come in the interview also. So supposing one of these, they may show you and ask your response. Compensation paying to the Iraq victims. You'll say, yes, sir. Then the counter questions will come. Then she asked me. Then I countered. Then where will you stand? Then I counter with that fellow who committed suicide, that agricultural farmer, Vidarbha farmers, Telangana farmers. You did not pay. What right you have got to pay here? Then, chup, mark 0. So these are the things which may come. So don't take any chance. Read carefully. That's why we said conclusions have to be connected to AS, AK and R. Without AS, without AS is first, then AK comes second, then R comes, then C. There is a single chain of thought. Whichever way. See, there are no correct or wrong answers in ethics. You may take any stance. You want to pay compensation, you do, but you have to argue this. You must convince me. There are no correct and wrong answers in ethicality. That's why it's called ethics. It's not law. Law there is. You commit murder, you will be hanged. Ethics, it may not be murder. When I am fighting a war, I may be killing some people, 1 or 2 or innocent people, maybe they may die. I have no intention to kill in order to protect my country. It's an ethical question. You can't apply law in ethical matters, you can't apply ethical matters in law. You must understand this. Okay? Clear now? Okay, next, write down. What are the advantages of CSM? What is CSM? Exactly. Thank you for your attention. So CSM, PSM क्या है? CSM is case study method. Okay. What are the advantages? Number 1, new perspectives. Number 2, honing decision making skills. Honing means improving, fine tuning. సానబట్టడం తెలుగులో చెప్పాలంటే కత్తి యొక్క మొన గనక సరికైపోతే మన ఊళ్ళలో చిన్నప్పుడు సైకిల్ చైన్ వేసుకొని ఇట్లా వచ్చి ఇట్లా తొక్కేది ఉంటాయి. అవి పెట్టుకున్నట్టు సానబడతారు. మీరు చూసారా ఎప్పుడన్నా? చూడలేదా? చూసారా? వెరీ గుడ్. ఐ హోప్ యూ హ్యావ్ నాట్ కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ న్యూయార్క్ యెస్టర్డే. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ. మేము చూశాను ఆయన ఎలా తిప్పుతారు సైకిల్ది మిషన్ లాగా సానబడుతుంటారు. దాంట్లోంచి ఇట్లా రంగురంగులుగా ఇవి కూడా వచ్చేస్తాయి కదా, అదనమాట. హోనింగ్ అంటే అది సానబట్టడం. బికమ్ మోర్ ఓపెన్ మైండెడ్, ఎన్హాన్స్ క్యూరియాసిటీ. నంబర్ 4, ఎన్హాన్స్ క్యూరియాసిటీ. నంబర్ 5, బూస్ట్ సెల్ఫ్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్. అంటే సెల్ఫ్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ బూస్ట్ చేస్తుంది అది కేస్ స్టడీ మెథడ్. ఒక 500-600 కేసెస్ కనుక మీరు చదివితే ఒక 20-30 వస్తాయి. అప్పుడు మీకు ఒక అర్థమవుతుంది. అంటే ఒకటే రాదు, వచ్చింది ఎప్పుడు రాదు, రిపీట్ కాదు, ఐఐటీ లాగా. నో క్వశ్చన్ విల్ కమ్ ఎవర్, బట్ అ కాంబినేషన్. ఓహో, ఆ కేసులో అలా చదివాం కదా. కానీ మీకు టూల్స్ కనుక మీరు బట్టి పట్టకూడదు కేస్ స్టడీస్. యూ షుడ్ నెవర్ బై హార్ట్ కేసెస్. ఎవ్రీ కేస్ ఇస్ డిఫరెంట్, లైక్ ఎవ్రీ ఫింగర్ ప్రింట్ ఇస్ డిఫరెంట్. ఐ విల్ ఎంపవర్ యూ విత్ ద టూల్స్ ఆఫ్ అనాలిసిస్. ఏఎస్, ఏకే, ఆర్ వరకు నా రీజన్, నా రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ, సి ఈజ్ యువర్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ. అది ఎనీథింగ్ అవ్వచ్చు, ఎనీథింగ్. ఐ విల్ గివ్ యూ ద టూల్స్ ఆఫ్ అనాలిసిస్. A plus B whole square is equal to what? I will say A plus B into A plus B, A square plus AB plus B square, A square plus 2AB plus B square. అది చెప్తాను. అక్కడ ఈక్వాలిటీ పెట్టి A square plus 2AB plus B square రాసిన రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ మీది. అది బట్టి పట్టేసి A plus B into A minus B is equal to A square minus B square అని చోట ఇది పెడితే ఇబ్బంది అయిపోతుంది. ఎక్కడ ప్లస్ ఎక్కడ మైనస్ యూ మస్ట్ అండర్స్టాండ్. గాట్ ఇట్? ఓకే. నెక్స్ట్, డిసడ్వాంటేజెస్. Advantages, what are the disadvantages? We'll stop it here. Disadvantages. Difficulty in generating findings. Generalizing findings. Difficulty in generalizing findings. Difficulty in generalizing findings. Maybe yours. Oh, no problem. Take it. Number 2, risk of bias. Risk of bias oblique personal opinions. Number 3, difficulty in convincing stakeholders. Difficulty in convincing stakeholders. Now big question comes, what is meant by stakeholder? Can anybody explain to me? Persons involved. What kind of involvement? I agree with you, but what kind of involvement? In other words, they have something connected which is vital connection. which is not a casual connection, which is vital. In other words, that vitality may not be same for all the stakeholders. Example, I sell this pen to her. I am a seller, she is a buyer. But the pen is not mine. Pen is manufactured by the Rotmac company or whichever company it is. So who am I? So far as this pen is concerned, I am a stakeholder because I am a wholesale dealer. She is a consumer, she is buying it. Government is also a stakeholder because government is giving tax. When they manufacture this, they are paying excise tax. When they give it to me, they are paying sales tax. When I give it to them, they are also getting a sales tax. That GST, right? There is this plastic. So she is a NGO who works against the plastic. So she is also a stakeholder. She doesn't want this plastic to be used, right? She is somebody who is working against, throwing out this unused pen to that. She is a communist guerrilla. She wants all the pens not to be black but red pens. So she has a stakeholder. So these are the different stakeholders. Involvement in one form or the other, which is an impact, which is not casual. That's what is called stakeholders. Okay. We'll define tomorrow about that. We'll examine. Please understand, I am assuming that most of you are very freshers. You may not know. That's why I am taking the pain of explaining to you. I would have dictated as stakeholders. And dictionary में जाने से कुछ नहीं मिलेगा आपको. So please stop me whenever you want some meaning. I am not a person who use any word which I don't know the meaning. Be assured of that. I am totally honest person insofar as my note. This is my notes. This is my handwriting. I will not use any slides because I know sliding means sliding down. You will never read the slide in your lifetime, as I have never done. स्लाइड है, एग्जामिनेशन है 1 घंटा में, लेकिन 1 मिनट है तब भी 15 सेकंड है पढ़ेंगे. वो 1 सेकंड कभी नहीं आएगा, मैं जानता हूं. लिखोगे, लीड करोगे, देखोगे, स्लाइड करोगे. And to put it the style of Narendra Modi ji, that's what it is. Okay, next, difficulty in convincing stakeholder. Fourth one, in-depth analysis may not be. In-depth analysis may not be congenial. In-depth analysis may not be congenial. CONGENIAL, congenial to general audience. General audience. What do you mean by congeniality? Congenial. I know you don't know. That's why I used specially this word. I know you have not read any good English novel. You don't. Nor you watched any English movie. Seriously, please watch old English movies, black and white English movies. Then you will understand good English. Please watch Alfred Hitchcock movies. There is a movie called Advocate or something. Those kind of movies, extraordinary, black and white. Are all available in Unet, free. Only Jagan Mohan Reddy doesn't give free. Even YouTube also gives free. Okay, watch them. Huh? Learn good. Congenial means suitability. Congenial means first time in your lifetime you are hearing this word, right? First time in your lifetime, right? I'm sure. Let it not be the last time. That's my hope. Congenial means suitable. Suitable. So if you say suitable, it doesn't sound much. Congenial. क्या इफेक्ट है. इवन पढ़ने वालों को भी पता नहीं, डिक्शनरी देखना पड़ेगा, तब पता होता है कि वर्ड पावर, हर एक वर्ड का पावर होता है. क्यों मैडम? वर्ड को हम हमारे अपना लैंग्वेज में अक्षर बोलते हैं. जो क्षर नहीं होता है उसी को अक्षर बोलते हैं. जो कभी भी मिट नहीं जाएगा, न मर जाएगा, रह जाएगा दुनिया जब तक है, इसलिए अक्षर बोलते हैं. अक्षरम परब्रह्म स्वरूपम, ज्ञानम परब्रह्म स्वरूपम. That's what it is. So that word, so congeniality is that. So we'll stop it here. It's already 7 minutes over, and tomorrow we will get how to solve any case, and I have come some diagrams. We'll explain, and we will start the syllabus. We have already started from today, and we will start the syllabus from tomorrow. Actually, this case study method was from Harvard University, Harvard Business School. You see this watch? It is Harvard Business School, the best institution in the world. Sort of sound. This is actually in Harvard Business School, case study method, more than 500 case studies are there. They, in fact, I brought a book also here. It is published by Harvard Business School. Only recently I just bought it 3 days ago. This is Harvard Business School, an extraordinary book. Dealing with difficult people in the organization. You maybe have your boss or a subordinate or a political fellow or a journalist, or maybe when you are married, your own wife or husband, or a mother-in-law or a father-in-law. They can be difficult people. How to deal with them? They did a lot of case studies and they gave with this solutions. And Harvard Business School, the best in the world, apart from MIT Sloan School of Management, Harvard Sloan School of Management. I have been there. I just saw that place. I have an aspiration one day to do a course there, an extraordinary school, the best in the world. They have invented this scheme 102 years ago, wherein a case is taken, it is discussed in the class. That is why I want all of you, because 120 marks out of 250 marks are case studies. So whenever I teach, I want all of you to be involved, right? This is what Harvard Business School is. Tomorrow I'll show you the video, 4 minutes video. They misplaced it, they are showing something else. I'll show you tomorrow. So in that, every case first is introduced with a professor and then left to the class. The class discusses it in time. They don't do useless things, clearly. And so that this is, the problem is identified first. First of all, you have to identify the problem. Then remove the complexities, cut it into small steps. Then deal with each step in isolation as if other steps don't matter. And then when you A, B, C, D, E, F like that, if you do it, and then combine all of them. And then come to the complex solution. Complex problems can only have complex solutions. And how to implement the solution, take the opinion of the entire class. What are the problems that may crop up in the implementation? Because the implementation should not be something which is impractical. Right? Kill all the fellows who do smuggling in the country. That may be a solution. But can you do that? Should you do that? That's the issue. Educate them, combat them, bring in them like this. Last is analyze the whole thing and write down clearly, making a standard operating procedure. So if this happens, this is what. That is how surgery is developed in the world. Entire medicine is based on case studies. For ages, from Sushruta to that side, Aristotle was also a great surgeon, 2000 years ago. That's how the whole process came. Today you have robotic surgeries. You have anesthesia administration. With a heart problem also people go and come. So if surgeries can happen, you can have same kind of methods for human problems as well, organization problems. This is an organ, human body, this is an organization.